Hey everyone, Arsenal Fan Circle here. It is the Thursday night forum. Welcome everyone. Welcome Alonso. He's back. Back for more, Alonso.
Yeah.
Welcome Tony. And
Hanzo
welcome.
has butterflies again.
Yeah, Alonso's got butterflies, and I think we might all have butterflies depending on what we think about this window. Welcome Tony, and welcome Gary. All right,
Hello.
Let's
first
get
order
this
of
show
business.
started, Ray.
First order of business is for Tony here. We want to create awareness for Sunday. Ryan
And Monday.
from. All right, can you let me just? You want to talk about it, or like you, of course, can highlight your own cause if you want to.
You
you
can
want
go.
to?
I'm just saying it stretches into Monday. Carry on.
All right, 24-hour marathon at Mr. Arsenal podcast. Ryan has kindly devoted 24 hours to you, Tony. You had to go through a traumatic amputation. Let's be serious here now. Traumatic amputation 10 months ago. How long ago was it now? 9 months
Middle
ago.
of December. That was the easy part, though.
Speak a little bit about it, Tony.
Oh, back in last June, I had a blood clot that busted loose in my ankle, and my foot swelled up. Then in September, I started getting infections and just kept fighting it on and off. And in December, I got into the bones, completely ate through my fourth toe, got into my heel. So it gave me the option. It was either multiple surgeries on my foot or just below the knee amputation, and I chose just a single surgery.
Yeah, so listen, you won't meet a tougher guy than Tony here. He's dealt with a lot of adversity in this
I'm
past
tougher than a $2 steak, Ray.
tougher than something. I don't know what that is. $2 steak, yeah. Well, listen, we have a lot of viewers here on this channel who also are viewers of Ryan's over on Mr. Arsenal podcast. Want to create awareness here. We are all going to do our part here. I'm speaking. I know Gary well. Maybe Alonso will jump in. Tony will be there. We're going to be on with
Are you
Ryan.
finally to sing my song then, Ray? You still owe me a song.
We will. We're going to. Yeah, and we're going to book in the podcast. So we're going to do a 2-hour podcast leading up to Ryan's podcast. So come to us on Sunday. It'll be 5 p.m. UK time, and we'll do 2 hours, and then Ryan will take over for 24 hours, and we will be doing our part over there as well. But let's create awareness for you, Tony. You have a GoFundMe account, and you already have huge bills to pay, but you'll be out of pocket. How much, Tony?
Right now, 8,800 caps off at 10,000 is the most my insurance would make me pay out of pocket. So I'll hit that probably. I'll hit that sometime next month or this month.
You have set up a GoFundMe page. I'll be putting the link down here in the description after the podcast. So please come back and listen. No, every donation is important, no matter the size. They're all would be treated equally and appreciated equally by Tony. We have already got 1,000 in the kitty. We need another 9,000. Hopefully, we can create awareness. People can drop the price of a coffee, price of a takeaway in there for you, and we can build that throughout those 24 hours. We're going to try and bookend those with a podcast before and maybe a podcast afterwards, Gary. What do you think?
You can do that.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll try and drum up awareness. So, yeah, that's Tony. He's had an amputation. He needs to get a prosthetic leg. I'm going to put the banner, the ticker down here, running underneath so people can peruse that and take a look at it. But yeah, that's what's happening with Tony. It's what's going to happen on Sunday. So a lot of Arsenal fans disconnect in the international break and we wouldn't blame them for doing it for Arsenal's sake. We haven't been great these past 3 games, but if you're around on Sunday, come join us here before Ryan gets started over there on Mr. Arsenal podcast. And like I said, we'll all be doing our part. So, Gary, you got anything to add to that?
No, just yeah. Like you said, just check it out. If you want to donate, you can. If you want to spread the word, that's just as good. Whatever you can do to help would be appreciated. Like you said, we're going to help out Tony. You see him on the post here, and he does he's smiling all the time, but it's been a long road for him. We know that much.
Yeah.
So, and Arsenal's not helping him out right now. So
No,
so at some point, maybe Arsenal will turn the tide and make things a little bit better when you're watching the football. So
that's
yeah,
why no Arsenal shirt tonight.
So let's see who's in the house tonight. And thanks everyone for joining. Boarding at gate 6 tonight. Hit the like button for your boarding pass. Gate 6 because we had 6 incoming, so that's the number I picked. Our Arsenal fan circle is coming to you today with the number 6.
the number 6.
Hello everyone. Welcome aboard. It wouldn't be an Arsenal fan circle flight if all of the crew wasn't a bit late, and it's debatable who was late tonight.
We all know who it is. Okay, yeah, there you go. Just yeah.
Steven said, typical Ray on Fergie time again. I'm only here to see what color shirt Gary is wearing today.
Yeah, because I don't know, it's dark blue, or I think it's
dark gray.
It's gray here. Yeah.
He does what he wants. He runs the show, so Ray does what he wants. I might bring that on Sunday, Stephen. So come and join us here on Sunday as well. Great to see Stephen here with us, and Gunnar Glenn also is going to be watching us on playback, and everyone here. John Smith is in, the Urban Ghost, and Riddy. Evening, everyone. Evening, gents. Hope everyone's well. Has a big lump of money gone accounted for at Arsenal? 15 to 20 overpaying transfers, and they don't know where the overpayment went. Who got it?
Is that right? Is that right?
Has a big lump of money gone accounted for? Maybe they felt sorry for Willian and gave him the money after all.
You know what? That would make more sense to me, because I just don't understand how you could.
Arteta, like, the way your grandmother would like sneak some money to you. Here, take this money. Just threw it right into his right under here, hide it under your shirt. That's what that picture was, Gary. Big up, Tony. Timekeeping by Alba. Yes, John. Steve Denham, I'm just hearing about that. Yeah, so let's have the chat room break the story to us. What's happening with that 50 or 20 million? I'm going to flip it over on you guys. Is this summer or last summer with Raul? Yeah. Salute to the panel, and thanks, Bargav. Great to have people in here, and great to have people still be excited about talking about Arsenal. Alonso, I'm going to go to you. We had an anniversary for one of our greats who passed away, a former Arsenal player, Jose Antonio Reyes. So we have to mark that as well, Alonso.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. He was a part of the Invincibles, and he came on to the team as someone of a very good player for Arsenal. Could have got more out of him, but unfortunately he went out on loan. But during the time when he was here, he was a pretty good player, and came on the substitute sometimes, and sometimes hid behind Henry and Bergkamp. So yeah, I mean, I remember the day it happened, and I felt sad because he was a great player. He was an invincible, and you can't forget that. And he'll stick in forever an Arsenal roar. I think that he's very important to us fans, and will always have a place in our hearts.
Exactly. Jose Antonio Reyes, gone but not forgotten. We have to remember our former Arsenal greats. Tony Turner.
Playing him in FIFA.
Tony, it's going to be your birthday. It's going to be your birthday on Monday, so we might mark that. We'll probably be live on Mr. Arsenal podcast, crossing the midnight threshold here on Sunday into Monday morning here, which will be early morning in the UK. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. We don't know the slots yet that we're going to be taking, but hopefully we're going to take this kind of time slot. Take over from Ryan, who it's not easy to do 24 hours in a row, I'm sure. So we'll be doing that. for Ryan. So then, do we have a dog podcast now? Was it all Tony's? Is it Tony's canines or is yours
No,
involved?
it's not mine. Mine doesn't sound like no. No. Mine's like a yap 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 yap. So
Gary, as Brady said here, good to have the Interlull back, and it's probably not a bad time to take a break for the players to go away and have a reset mode after losing 3 games, not scoring a goal, and conceding what would probably be 1/4, close to 1/4 of what we conceded all of last season.
yeah, I'm actually disappointed that we have nothing for 2 weeks. So I guess I'm on the other side of that that discussion. I like this to start changing the tide that we're going in right
Yeah.
now, the direction we're going in right now. The only way to do that is to get back out there on the pitch. So I know I know it's probably a good time for those players that are playing, but I didn't hear anything about Partey today in terms of the game that we were playing. So it looks like he's still going to be out probably. But Gabriel being out there with White was really good to hear. So that's good from the defensive side. Martinelli was playing, so once again, good there. But yeah, I think I would rather us be playing again, just to kind of get that, because this stink that we have on us, and the stink that's at the top of the table, just isn't going to go away until we play again, until the league's back alive again. So I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Obviously, there's two sides to every story, Alonso. Either you want to keep going, you want to try and turn it around, you want to play the next game 3 to 5 days later or a week later, or you can go away for 2 weeks, forget about it. The Arsenal players look themselves in the mirror and go away with their international commitments and come back refreshed and ready to go again.
Well, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you want to see the best from your team, right? And we were unlucky to have a rough schedule, and you should have beaten Brentford, but it was a new club, and they had to make a point that they belong in the Premier League, and to for, to their fair play to them, because when I saw the game live, the place was buzzing, right? And you knew from kickoff that they wanted to win the game more so than Arsenal did. It seemed like to me. So besides that, you had Chelsea, Manchester City, which they weren't impossible wins, but they could have done much better. And so the next game is against Norwich, right? So you want to play Norwich because you know that Arsenal are going to somehow beat them, right? Or at least hope so. But this wait is so long that you want to hurry up and wait, get it over with until you actually get team play. But then again, at this point, why would you want right? Because they're so disorganized and they don't know what they're doing. So I don't know. It's a tough question, really.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to get into the Norwich game. We're going to get into when we come back from the Interlull. One other point of order here as well, apart from really telling us we did win the second leg, and I don't know about that one, but it's a nice spin on things. Stephen said he won't be in the chat tonight, but he's going to chill out and watch in bed. So put your feet up, Stephen. We are going to talk about reflections in the window, and we're going to see what we think about all of the players ins, outs, shake it all about. The ones that could have gone, the ones that were convinced to stay, the ones who didn't go, the ones who renewed, and the ones who extended. I'm just looking at Gary as I'm saying all of that. It's a lot to get through. One other point of order, Gary, is we have to give a shout out to Mike Hurts. Congratulations to him. He is a dad once again, I believe.
Yep.
Hopefully another Gooner in the Gooner family.
Yeah, do we need more misery to the company that we got right now? Do we need more
Maybe by
company
the
to the
time that
misery?
child is growing up and knows what it's all about and can talk tactics and all that good stuff,
Yeah,
it won't be the kid won't be afraid to go to school and be bantered by his or her mates. You know what I mean? I think.
definitely.
All right, so let's start by the first in. Gary, Nuno Tavares came in on I think July 20th. We had to wait June 20th.
Yeah, I was gonna say he came in with a bang, but he actually came in with a woof.
With a wolf, yeah. Dog liquor.
He loves his animals, right? Yeah,
Yep, that's not a
yeah.
bad thing.
But you know what? Based on what I've seen so far from him, he looks like he's going to be a welcome addition. So I mean, he is still raw. He still has a lot of things to work out as far as being able to take over the reins from Kieran Tierney, and but he's got. I like when he comes out there. Definitely looking to go forward, which I like. Uh, the defense, like anything else, is it probably will be a struggle, but I think he's got enough energy to at least make up for any mistakes that he may create. So I'm liking him every time. I think when we saw him come in,
His debut, didn't he score
yeah,
against Rangers on his debut?
yeah. I'm talking about, yeah. I was thinking of in the 3 games or the 4 games that we've played so far in the season. When he came on, he looked really good too. I was trying. I didn't even recognize. I was like, "Who is that player out there?" I forgot that we had him come on, and he looks really good. So I'm going to say that one is a good, and the fact that he's, for the price and he's a reserve, I think that's good. And going forward, we should see more, hopefully more and better things from him. Yep.
Yeah, Alonso, 7 or 8 million. Came from Benfica. At first, a little bit underwhelming. Who is this kid? We didn't know much about him. Looking at YouTube as you do when you don't know much about the player, you see a mistake or two in him. But he's come to Arsenal and he's shown that he's willing to compete. So much so that he's actually maybe starting to compete in the right back position, which maybe Arteta telling the club we needed something done in the right back position, and we probably have to get toward the latter part of the podcast so we get to Tommy, as I like to call him. But Nuno Tavares, what were your initial what have your thoughts been on him, Alonso?
I mean, Tavares.
Tavares, yeah, Tavares.
Tavares, yeah. So, um, I'm pleased with the way that we got Tavares because he's still young enough to know that he can still work on his game, but yet he's still young enough to play more so than not. And I think, like Gary has said, that he's been impressive so far from the games that he has played. Granted, it's in substitutions and the game against West Brom, but he showed that he could play in this league and on this team. And maybe it is right back, left back. It's a good signing because he could do things that Bellerin couldn't do anymore. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the kid. I think that he's gonna be here for a long time. I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I think it's goodbye.
Yeah.
Tony, you there? Three,
Yeah.
two, one. No.
Well, the fact that you said, that he can, the fact that he's actually played both left and right sides of the field, it's got to be a bonus. I mean,
Definitely.
that it kind of it it's almost makes you wonder whether or not the right back should have been the primary if they're going to get Savage, because I don't like playing games, and if they're playing games, and that's the reason why they got Tomiyasu is because he played on the right side, and it kind of that doesn't make any sense, right? They should be already discussing those types of things. If a right back was one person that they wanted, and um, there were at least for us, I felt like there might have been better right back options out there that we could have gotten. All right.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, I don't. If that's true, then those are games that I don't think we need to play. We just need to go out there and do the business and get the players we need.
Yeah.
Right. If right back was more important than another center, defensive mid or another
Striker.
CM or whatever. Like anybody, somebody in the middle, right? That's
Yeah.
really what we wanted. It was somebody
Yeah.
else in the middle.
And we're,
We didn't do that, and it looks like right back was more important, which sounds ridiculous when we have four right backs and then a left back reserve who can play on the right side if needed. So it makes it's once again Arsenal just wasting, not really wasting their money, but not really planning out what they need to do.
Mhm.
I mean, when you've got four right backs and what did they got rid of one, right?
Yeah. Hector got
Yeah,
on to Real
yeah,
Betis now.
yeah.
So
So
we will have a word for Hector in the right back position later on. So we're going to do it by positions. Yeah, Tavares, as John Smith has said here, and thanks John for joining us. I think given how much Tierney gets injured, he's a welcome addition.
yeah,
Also, given how much Granit Xhaka had to cover there, whether he was, if you volunteer to do something, it doesn't always mean you're the right person to do it. And Arteta really shouldn't have done that. I mean, we go back as Tony will, if Tony will come back. We go back to the West Brom game when we're out of Europe, we've lost that semi final. Go back to West Brom and Bukayo Saka is playing left back or left wing back. It just tells you the state of how we needed this position to be filled. And Gary, I'll go back to you because I know central midfield partner for Partey was the number one position for all of us, but the second one was cover for Tierney at left back.
yeah. No, definitely we wanted to make sure that because he's not so far. He's already been out, right? Well, has he already been out?
Who?
No, the Tyranny. He hasn't been out yet, right?
No, he hasn't been injured yet.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
been in and out due to just like 60 minutes, 70 minutes getting tired is
yeah.
building
Yeah.
up.
So no, I think it's good to have that. Plus, it also will push him a little bit. I think because what we do see some good things when Tavares comes on the pitch. So that's another thing that we always wanted. Is like nobody should be comfortable, right? And right now, I don't think anybody's comfortable except for the strikers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's really the
yeah.
only place where we don't have a player that is leading the pack and another one behind that's pushing them, right? We're like hoping, but we don't have it. I mean, it, for me, like I said, and Aubameyang don't really push each other because they play the position so differently. But that's another story. But yeah, no, it's good to have backup for Tierney. Hopefully, it'll push him along, and maybe
He
we'll
looks
yeah maybe
exciting.
yeah maybe we'll see something different from Tierney in a sense of maybe he won't get in situations where he might end up getting an injury because I think a lot of them were like freak injuries, but they weren't. To me, sometimes it's like I don't know. He could do things differently. I don't know if he needs to do things. He needs to be a little bit earlier in his thinking. Thinking steps ahead and that kind of thing. So he's not in those situations where he's clearing a ball and kicking the guy in their leg, the
Yeah,
trunk of their leg, kind of
yeah.
things. That's
Or maybe
yeah,
maybe he was too much in the red zone, as Arsene Wenger used to say. A player would be in the red zone. Okay, Alonso, as Reddy said here, Tavares, good addition indeed, physical and versatile. However, he might struggle against top Premier League sides. I like the enthusiasm of the kid. I like what he brings. He looks at Kieran Tierney, and he's going to give it his best. He knows he's probably not going to displace Kieran Tierney, but he's going to maybe push the coach into putting him into the side alongside Kieran Tierney or doing something like that. He's definitely showing enthusiasm in what he wants to do. But Alonso, I wanted to come back. I'm going to balance out the ins and the outs together in the same position. We're going to talk about Said Kolasinac. The club tried to move him out, and we weren't able to do it on deadline day with Kolasinac. He actually played against City. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be going to Fenerbahce, but it's one I don't understand keep him, and he doesn't have very good at three at the back, right? he struggles, and he struggles as a left back too. And it's just, I don't understand how we could unload Lorenzo Ozil and Willian, but we can't get rid of oh, that. And
Classic.
I don't know if it's the state of the club we're in, or I don't know if he's not fit enough, or or what.
As John said, he was probably one of our better players against City. That is not saying a lot, as John said. Though,
Well, it's just embarrassing.
not a
To be honest
not a
with
good
you,
memory. Not good to linger on that City game at all.
and how Arteta kept it around like he kept Jock around, it just doesn't make any sense to me because they offer nothing to Arsenal. They don't, and it's pretty sad.
Um, pretty. We could understand against West Brom, Gary. Kolasinac comes in. We're not understanding why he's playing centre back. We can understand West Brom in a Carabao Cup game, but why are you bringing Said Kolasinac into a Premier League game away to the league champions?
As we said, that's Lego binary, Lego
Head
logic,
scratcher.
Arteta ball, whatever it is. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, you brought in Tavares for a reason. He should be the one playing if Tierney's not playing, or if you're gonna push Tierney up the pitch a little bit. But he didn't do that, and that you know, wow. Yeah, I never understood that one at all. That didn't make any sense to me.
And
Uh,
so Said stays with us at least until January.
yeah, I how is he gonna? I don't know. I'm speechless when it comes to that kind of maneuver. Like
We're
like
gonna do.
yeah,
We might do a prediction podcast on Sunday, Gary. So maybe one of the question will be how many starts will Said Kolasinac get till January? So think about that one.
yeah,
Uh, I'll just leave you scratching your head there on that
yeah,
one, everyone.
yeah.
Um, let's switch up the mood. The second player in the door was Lakonga, and he had his international debut today, Gary, with with Belgium against
Yeah.
Estonia.
Yeah, so he went from like just barely getting into the Euros, right? Sorry, getting left out of the Euros right at the end there, and now he's in the national team, right? So that's a plus. I don't know if that's because of what they've seen from him, or he's just a natural progression from where he was to where he needed to be. So that's a plus. Every time we see our players go out internationally, that's got to be a good thing. That means they're recognized as one of the best in their country, right? So it can only get better from there. And what we've seen so far has been great from him. Enjoy to see him out there. I feel like he's. I mean, I feel like he's comfortable on the ball when it comes to him. He needs more time in the league, of course, but he looks really good out there for what I think we want to get out of that position. Like everybody else, we're kind of concerned what will happen when we're back with a full squad.
Yeah,
Will he get to play?
where is the pecking order? That's what we want to know now,
Yeah, yeah.
and we
You
won't
know,
know for another 3 games because
I mean, they
Graham
went out
Patton's out
and
for
spent, yeah,
three.
they went out and spent around the same amount of money as they would have, got for Xhaka when he left, right? So, does that mean they're equal at least value wise, or what? So yeah, for what I believe we need to do. Lakonga has or Sambi has those skills, right? He needs to work on other ones, but once again, it should be easy, right? But we're gonna see what Arteta does with that. Works, we bring in a player, they look good, they sit. I mean, he didn't play in 2 games, right? He hasn't. We're, once
Yeah, he
again,
didn't
I
play at
always,
West Brom,
yeah,
and we thought at West Brom he
yeah,
was being
yeah,
rested for the City game.
yeah. I always wonder if for some reason we are resting our players for the international games that they're going to play, and I just don't. No, no. The international games are separate. We need to work on, especially Arsenal over the last number of years. They don't really have the time to like put players to the side and say, get ready to play. Because I really and truly think they should be getting whatever time they need playing for Arsenal, and then if they can afford to play and internationally let him go. But it just seemed weird that he did not play against West Brom, which is really the game that we expected him to come in. That's what he was brought in to do.
Yeah.
And I think they brought him in. They brought him in soon, early enough to where he should be able to figure out what Arteta wants and get
Now
the game
Gary's
time.
dogs are barking.
Yeah, my dog
It's
is.
going to be the K9 podcast here
Yeah,
pretty soon.
yeah. So
We're a week late. Last
Yeah.
week was
it was the dog's
National
day.
Dog Day.
Yeah. Now, so I think he should have played. He should have played at least one of the two games. I mean, the West Brom should have been the one he played, right?
Mhm.
I forget who played in his position at that point.
Xhaka, El Neni.
El Neni, yeah. So El Neni, so now El Neni might be gone. So then what's So what are they doing? What are they
Yeah,
doing?
hold that thought. We'll get into midfield. Alonso, Lakanga, or Sambi, as I should be calling him, or else Tony will be glaring at me.
I'm glaring at you.
He's could easily have been our best player for the first two games of the season, certainly against with Chelsea and Bradford in mind. Sambi Lakanga was one of our better players.
Yeah, I think Albert had a good game. I think that as isn't like I think he should start against. I think he should start ahead of Xhaka. I think that when Party and him are should be our best partnership. And yeah, Albert's a young kid, but this is why he was brought into Arsenal, right? Because you want to put anything at Niles at the best position you can, but I don't know. It's a tough question because it's a tough thought because I think Albert has a lot of potential to be partnered with Partey. But I see it in Niles is right back. However, I think that's our best partnership. The Conga and Hardy.
Alonso giving Gene Takovic vibes from Better Call Saul, so I'm not familiar with Gene from Better. Yeah, listen, Lakanga being targeted, recommended to Arsenal by Thierry Henry, Tony, and a club captain of Anderlecht. And these are the kind of players that we needed to identify. I always remember a podcast we did with Charlie from West Ham. He identified that they went out and got some Czech players that were leaders in their own right within their respective Czech teams, namely Suchek, and then he recommended Sufal as well. So they got a 2-for-1 there. And Arsenal have started to do something similar. Tavares is showing something more than most of us thought we would get from him. And now Lakanga can do the same thing for us, Tony.
It kind of goes back to last year with Gabriel. He's kind of surprised us all. This year, Sambi so far he's been our best player. It's nice seeing his run that he did today. He just cut right through the team, got the ball at probably about the 20-yard box and took it pretty much all the way to the other 20-yard box. Crossed it over. Didn't get a goal or anything. It was a good play.
And Gary, as you always say, show me something good. And Lakanga has shown us flashes of some things good in each game.
No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, offensively, it looks, for me, it looks good. Will he be able to hold up and control the midfield? I'm not sure. He's not there yet. Right.
No.
He's, from what we've seen from Partey and what we've seen from Sambi, I think it would be nice to see those two together. I look at that the same way I looked at when Luis and Gabriel were playing together. You kind of have your mentor and a student being able to learn off of each other. Mm-hmm. I think we kind of need that because there is a lot in there. He has a lot there that we've seen, and it kind of started out the same way. So why not just go with it, right? Luis is out. Gabriel's in. Partey's out. Sambi's in.
Mm-hmm.
Let him play. I mean, he's ready to play. So
Gary, the way I want to do this with ins and outs, we have to talk about a possible in or out or shake it all about, as I say right now. And to provide, I'm going to put a Star Wars analogy in here. Bring balance to the Force. We have to talk about the dark side. Granit Xhaka.
Do we have to talk about him? Makes my blood boil.
Yeah.
Is it really, Tony?
Well, we'll get around to Alonso and then we'll move on. You won't
There you
even
go. We'll skip
talk about
over Tony, so you don't have to hear him talk
it. Yeah.
about his favorite player.
What
No,
what what did we do this summer, Gary, with Granit Xhaka? Can you put your finger on it?
once again, this is the Lego binary, Lego logic, Arteta ball, whatever Edu does do, Edu do. Just
Eddie dude.
I
they
do,
do.
do, do, I do,
I
It
do
do.
just,
do do.
it just, it doesn't make any sense. A player wants out. You're off by a couple of million. It's not a big deal. Let him go, and then you can restock. It was early enough. I think they had enough time to probably bring in somebody for him if they had made that sale. But they really like him. They really like him. I think, or they're just not making sound decisions. It's almost like if it doesn't work, which every time he always shows that it's not going to work. All right, they
Yeah,
did all of that.
eventually
Right, they did all of that. They brought him back, and then they
it doesn't
extended him
work.
and all of that. And then he basically goes, you know what? And basically just gives him the finger as he walks off the pitch. And they're like, oh no, it's okay, as they pat his back. And it's like, what? He's supposed to be a leader. That's what they keep talking about. And I believe, is that me? Who's that? Uh
Tony.
oh, is that Tony? Oh,
I'm gonna start
we
handing
got a
out
music
some.
break here. Got a
I'm gonna
music break.
start handing out some yellow cards here in
We
this
got a little music
podcast.
break here. Tony
Yellow
giving us
cards for Tony.
a little music break. So I don't know what that was, who that was singing, but no,
It's
what's
amazing,
going on
right?
what's going on with that Xhaka whole situation? I don't understand it. I really don't.
He
It
seems to be like that kid who the teacher just loves. No matter what he does,
yeah,
he's forgiven. And all
he's
the
a
other kids, because he sits at the top of the class, Gary,
yeah.
and he's the
Yeah,
most attentive.
yeah, he's the one. He's the one with the spitball, right? And then as soon as the teacher looks up, he puts it on your desk, and then you're in trouble. That's
Yeah.
basically what happens there. And even though, and then the teacher looks right at him and then goes, "You guys stop it!" Doesn't point out anybody specifically, even though he knows, just because like you said, he's
Are you
got a
just
favorite.
saying that to Zaka or dogs?
Granit Xhaka.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
some talk from Stan here. Elneny to Besiktas, Jack Wilshere to Arsenal. I would definitely welcome Jack back, even if it's just to train Tony and help him in his career to get a club. Yeah, but you can bring him back. Didn't Henri come back to train with us?
It's a big difference between the two players.
Yeah, of course.
Henri brought back some leadership and some, like the comfort level, right? You can bring him in and you're gonna get what you're gonna get from him because he's done it for so long, and it's not the same with Wilshire
He
because
doesn't
he
get a
Well,
has,
lifetime membership
well,
like Perez does to a gym.
Jack also brings some kind of leadership values too because he was a captain for some games, and the season he was that's
you know,
the season that's played for us,
Yeah,
and
yeah, Alonso. Could we use that kind of leadership with the young players? The right kind of attitude, the right kind of message in training. You
I
know.
believe so because Jack's been through a lot, and he can use that to
Yeah.
become more of a leader. I think that he knows the Arsenal way, which none of the players, particularly the ones that aren't from here, can learn. And he's a former Highland boy himself, so he was a graduate of Arsenal Academy. So it would make sense to me, in my opinion, that he would bring some kind of leadership to the team. It may not be on the pitch, but maybe off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
mhm.
Um,
No, I was just gonna say I think part of the leadership or the the knowledge or the experience that Jack Wilshire has is some part of it's kind of some humility that he got when he decided to make some decisions and he realized they backfired on him, right?
Yeah.
But I then turn around and I look at Jacques and I'm like, well, that those two kind of conflict because one seemed to have learned from being, from the humility that he received, and the other one doesn't care because he keeps doing it
Yeah.
again and again and again, and it kind of
Yeah.
conflicts with the way that the team's being run, and that might come out, if he does come.
And Jack
Yeah,
Jack openly admits he did the wrong thing. He left too quickly. He had an opportunity subsequently. If he'd have stayed, injuries would have allowed him, probably two other players would have allowed him back into the team, and who knows what would have happened at this point in time. Okay, Tony, we're going to get off the Granit Xhaka topic.
Oh, I can have my say.
Pretty disgusting that we had a bid. We were ready to sell him, and Roma moved the goalposts. So Jose Mourinho did that, and also Arteta did it. And not only that, we give him more money and extended contract. So listen,
And we didn't extend his contract.
let's move on from Granit Xhaka.
We didn't have an option in his contract. He had an option. Wasn't an extension.
no, they added another year to it though, right?
There's an option for another year in
His
it.
4 years is the contract's 4 years now, right?
There's an option for another year. It's built into his contract.
It's a rolling year. He can stay as long as he wants. He'll be like Robert Perez. He'll be showering there when he's in his 50s, into his 60s. He can retire at Arsenal.
Nobody told Bobby he could leave yet. He just stays around. Doesn't know he's fired from Arsenal.
I see. Tony said, "Yeah, you said it here, Tony. Robert Perez gets a lifetime gym membership at Colney, and Granit Xhaka has probably already signed up for that membership at Colney." Okay, third win in the door, Tony, was 50 million from Ben White incoming.
And it's too much money. Too much money. We'll see what he has. Curious to see how he develops. But to me, from what I've seen, too much money.
Yeah, remains to be seen. The jury's out on this one, Alonso, and essentially, he is replacing David Luiz. But we're gonna see what kind of replacement he is for David Luiz.
Yeah, I think Ben White. He has a lot of potential, and he's still very young. And with the 50 million that he's worth, you could argue that. But I think for an English player, and it's good to have more English players on an Arsenal than anyone else because this is the English team in the past, and so I think we're trying to get back to that point. I think it's good for the players like Saka and in Moses Rowe, even Ramsdale, to have that English core again because we once had that, and unfortunately all went away like in the blink of our eyes. So yeah, it's important that he's still very young. I think that's the key point here is that he's still very young. He played for England, then the Euros. I know he didn't play much, but he was still on the squad, and he could be potentially on the World Cup squad as well. So there's a lot of things to look forward to with Ben White, in my opinion.
Gary, I'm looking at your expressions as we're going through this, and you look a little bit underwhelmed about Ben White.
Yeah, $50 million is a lot of money for. This is just another Pepe to me almost. He might get there, but we needed him to be there yesterday, essentially, right? He needs to come in ready to go, and I don't think he's a finished product the way we want him to be.
The hell of a price tag.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. If you look at the players that are worth 50 million, they don't have too many. They don't have a lot of question marks on them. Those players that are 50 and up. I mean, you look at all of them.
Look at the players that sell for 35 and 40, like Conte.
Well, exactly. The players that we were going after that we couldn't get were worth less, right? And we couldn't get them, right? Because they didn't want to come to Arsenal, essentially. So we did overspend, but we overspent for some potential that we got to wait for now. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money for potential. We did it already with Pepe, and luckily it seems Arteta will give him the time to play it, work his way out, as opposed to him getting kind of sat on the bench to work, and try to figure it out himself. But it's a lot of money. We might get what we want out of him eventually, but I don't know if we can be waiting around for players. The same way we got to wait for our Arteta to figure this whole management and coaching thing out. Now we have to wait for our center back to do the same thing. And like, yes, he replaces Louise in position, right, and maybe in the long passes that he can perform. Not in the leadership, not in the aerial defense that we want as well, that we were getting from Louise on a good day, right? I mean, what was it? Whatever game it was where he basically got shook off, right? And
Well,
that's
the only game he played was
yeah,
Brentford. The only
yeah, and he got shook
competitive
off in
game.
that game, right? And they luckily they missed the ball was far of the post, right? Otherwise, they would have scored that one too.
We
But
beat them today, Ray.
yeah, nobody counts today. Nobody counts today.
Ray does.
That
This is the
as
first
AI
regular
said, that
season
was just
game since all the
practice.
other ones were
We're talking
preseason.
practice, man. We're talking practice. So nah, not the same. And
It's
it
not.
doesn't count, and it doesn't make me feel. Actually, it upset me that we won like that. I mean, I was like, we won 4-0. No, it doesn't, and it doesn't even
Doesn't
Yeah, but we
count.
matter.
still didn't
Doesn't
do
matter.
that good. We didn't score in the first half.
Well, that's the other thing. That's that yeah.
As ready.
After we wore them down, then eventually we just we pulled ahead because we had some of our starters in there, but defensively, I guess we were solid because they
We
didn't
have
get. Yeah.
we have contrasting opinions, but both of them could be right here. Tony Rudy said he costs more than Erdegaard, which is harsh, but that's the reality with signing British players. And
Yeah.
then John Smith goes on to say a bargain compared to Harry Maguire. Though remember how he started off at United was a right donkey, and
Yeah. But that's a Harry Maguire that had just won the league, wasn't it? It wasn't like
who won
he
the
hadn't
league?
been play. Didn't they win the league right
Who?
after Harry Maguire with Leicester City, right?
I'm not sure.
Or was that
I think it was
before?
post. I think it was post.
You think it was after they won, right?
He didn't win the league with them.
He didn't win the league with them.
No.
Okay. So he
It was Huth and Wes Morgan were stalwart.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That Wes Morgan, that guy, an older
Stalwart.
senior statesman, right, playing back
Mhm.
there. He was a way better Louise, right? Way better Louise, right? I just remember.
Well, he wasn't able to play out from the back.
No, but
It wasn't a red card
But he was a
machine.
defensive player.
Yeah.
Right, playing in center back, so that's not that bad. That's actually pretty good, right?
Yep.
You're asking, yeah, playing long is kind of how the game is going, but defensively, he kind of was solid back there, right? You need, the other player can make those long passes, but you got a stalwart back there. You got the wall back there, basically, maybe holding up holding up the defense. So that was nice to see. But yeah, now I think it's just a lot of money for potential. Arsenal doesn't. Like potential, like the same potential we may get from Sambi, it's on the same level as what you're getting from White.
Mhm.
Defensively he's not there, and he didn't win the league. Yeah,
As Brady said, he was with Hull at the time, moved to Leicester, and then moved on to United.
Okay.
So Leicester, a club, we'll talk about them throughout the season, I'm sure. Tony, as Brady said, Odegaard, it cost more than Odegaard, Ben White. We had to go back to Brighton a number of times till we coughed up the price that Brighton wanted.
Yeah, we started off at what, 35 million or something like that, and just kept going up 5 million increments.
You could say out of the whole window, this was the one player that Mikel Arteta was almost obsessed about wanting to bring into the team, more than any other team, arguably.
Yeah, we had the third best defense last year. I don't know why he was prioritizing the center back that much. Losing Luis wasn't that big of a deal. He's past his prime. Always having
He
mistakes
had to
in
be
him.
replaced.
Have the red cards in him.
He might have passed his prime, but he was part of that third
leadership,
third ranked defense. I mean, he was. I mean, the
Amazing.
defense isn't third rank without him, I believe. I think it drops with you take him out of like if he didn't play for us last season, I don't think we would have had a top 3 defense. Yes, he made a lot of mistakes, but I don't believe the defense would have been as good. I don't think Gabriel would have come along as fast as he did. If he had to play with, who's he going to play with? Mustafi? He's actually telling Mustafi what to do in his first season with Arsenal. So nope, that wasn't going to help. Holding, Chambers. No, they came around later in the season, but in the beginning of the season, nah. So that, I mean, that's kind of what I see there. So yeah, as much as we all wanted,
Language barrier,
we're all happy to
Gary.
see Louise
Language
leave.
barrier.
Yeah, as much as we're happy to see Louise go, we lost more than just a
Yeah,
defender. Yeah,
that is the big question from this window, Gary. You're looking at a lot of other places on the team, and you can say, okay, we've replaced like for like, we've upgraded in some areas. This is the real question mark in
yeah.
this window.
I wonder what would have said
Ben White is
yeah.
Ben White going to replace what David Luiz gave us?
So if imagine if we just said we want 50 for Dunk, we would have just would they have said yes? Or they would have said 80? Would that have looked really crazy?
I believe Dunk would probably have went for more than Ben White did. I believe club captain, you know, somewhat in the same mold as a Harry Maguire, and
Yeah.
possibly could get better. As John Smith said here, a friend of mine is a Brighton fan, and the vibe amongst Brighton fans is that we have seriously overpaid.
If we're gonna like think about it, we really wanted him and we were gonna pay whatever, but we don't have a partner for Partey. And when that would have been I would rather spend the 50. I would rather spend the 80 to
No,
get somebody for Partey.
we kept Partey's partner.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. No, I don't. I can't see you right now. No, I don't. No, I don't. No.
And if you're a West Ham fan, this is okay. But if you're an Arsenal fan, not so much.
And
You
we
know what I
played
mean?
a back three again today.
See, I don't understand
agree,
the way. I don't understand some of that logic. Right? Why are we playing a back three now? Is that what we actually going to do from now on?
I hope
When
not.
like 90% of all the fans were like, "Why didn't we do that against Chelsea?" Right?
Yeah. Listen, we got to move on. We got about another 10 players to talk about tonight, so
Do it.
we're gonna pick up pace here as we go. Alonso, we're gonna do it in chronological order. About this time approximately, the club sees fit to sell Joe Willock. Now, he's about the only incoming. He created some money, and the state of our squad was so bad that a player that is somewhere in the middle of the pack in terms of ability and marketability in terms of what we could get from him, we had to sacrifice a player like that. A lot would say he wasn't fitting into our system, and I understand that. But he had done so well, his stock was so high that the club probably felt that they had to cash in on Joe Willock.
Yeah, and I think that we all could agree on that. We waited and waited and waited for Joe Willock to make his mark on the team, and it wasn't like Arteta gave him that opportunity. But you would assume that if Joe Willock wanted to be on a certain 11, then he'd make sure of that. But he didn't take advantage of that. And I think that when Pepe signed for Arsenal, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, like 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, saying to himself, well, they got Pepe now. Then why am I even here now? I had no reason. I had no reason to be here, other than I'm holding it loaned out, which he did, and we're here now, and he's at Newcastle, and he has a lot of potential, but just not here because Arteta won't use him properly enough, and or he just wasn't motivated to break into the team, and therefore he had to go alone to Newcastle, and you saw his stock grow once they used him properly, and that was just that Arteta just didn't use him, or didn't see him as an asset.
Yeah. Where do we put our finger on this one, Gary? You got, as Alonso alluded to, a great loan deal with Newcastle. Never really was able to stake a claim at Arsenal. And Was it the player, or was it the manager, or was it something in between, Gary?
No, it was well. I think it was easy. It's the way we were playing. We needed a certain player. He didn't fit the mold. He went on loan. He excelled, and easy sale. Right? They weren't going to change for him, and they probably shouldn't. Right? They weren't going to play the style that really excel. He could he could exceed in. So he needed to be sold, and that's what you wanted. I mean, he may go out and score the same number of goals, but so far, I don't think he's. I think he's played and he hasn't scored. So
Mhm.
maybe it's a good deal. Maybe they're just gonna figure out how to get him back
Maybe
into the.
maybe
Yeah.
he excelled, Gary, to get the permanent move to Newcastle that he needed, and players get kind of relaxed, like we've seen maybe with Aubameyang with that contract, and you don't see the best from them.
Yeah, look, and that's what we want. Well, we want some pressure. So he had pressure when he was at Arsenal and couldn't, couldn't excel, and then goes there and can, like you said, you know, I can just go out there and play some football, and then boom, that's what we see, right? So now he's got a contract, so now he's got to play, and maybe that's why he's starting to tense up, right? They say pressure builds diamonds and all of that kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
some people just get really tight. So we'll see. But he wasn't, like I said, it was an easy one. Either he stays and he plays, or if he's not part of your plans, then he goes. Right?
Yeah.
It should have been an easy one. That's an easy one for me.
Um, Tony, happy with the cash we got for Joe Willock?
Nope.
What was it? 25 when all said and done? Was it 25 million?
Yeah, it's 20 million plus some bonuses.
Bits and pieces here. I mean, they will say in a COVID market, not a bad price, not a bad. But I always wanted to push closer to 30 myself, and yes, I did have some attachment to the player. So as an Arsenal fan, you have to not be attached to the players.
Yeah, it
Um,
makes no sense. As bad as we needed a midfielder to score, selling him. He scored plenty with under 23, scored plenty in the Europa. He was never given a chance under Arteta. Under Emery, he looked good. Emery might have played him a little bit too much, but Arteta never fancied him, never played him.
mm,
And that's why I don't know why we're targeting all these 21 to 25-year-old players, because Arteta never seems to have time to work with those guys, work through their mistakes. Those young kids are to screw up, and Arteta's just like, fuck it, they screw up, you're out of here.
yeah, yeah. Listen, we're going to go through this chronological order, and we're sort of into late July here at this point in time. England are still in the European Championships, and Ben White is going to join us in 2 weeks. So at this point in time, let's get talking, Alonso, about Kieran Tierney and Emil Smith Rowe. They, without much fuss. Well, Emil Smith Rowe made us wait a little bit, but Kieran Tierney, no, not much fuss. He pretty much told his agent he wanted to be at Arsenal, and it was straightforward for Arsenal to do that. Although, albeit a month late, as Gary would say, it should have been done when the final ball was kicked at the end of the season. But Kieran Tierney gets his extension pretty quickly.
Yeah, and as an Arsenal fan, in the past we've let our great players go because they won't resign because there's nothing to look forward to. And in this case, it's kind of different because we as fans somehow we all could agree maybe that we don't like Arteta because the way he plays, the way he manages, the way he sets out formations, the way he plays players. But you're not an Arsenal for you don't want to extend a contract for a reason, right? And Kieran Tierney may like London, he may like the fact that he's at Arsenal, maybe the fact that he may be captain sooner or later. All these things may have accumulated in him extending the contract, which is, as a fan of Arsenal, as a supporter, you want your best players to extend their contracts right away or as soon as they can. And also the film Moses Rowe, because he adds a lot to Arsenal. He's a Howland boy, of course, y'all know that.
Mhm.
and he has a lot of potential to be a great player, whether it be at the number 8 or number 10 spots. Uh, because the guys he loves playing with his teammates. He knows Bukayo Saka, of course, like they're like best friends, and you want to see the best out of young players. And I think Kieran Tierney and Nelson Fo, in my opinion, also being leadership values to a team that desperately needs it. So yeah, I mean it's important that they both extended when they did because Emil Savo was linked to Aston Villa, and
Yeah.
that was kind of intense itself. But he loves it here, and I'm sure they love playing for Arteta, I guess. And I think that they know that the supporters love him as well. So yeah, I mean I'm happy for both of them to be here for a long time.
Gary, with Kieran Tierney, and especially from what I saw, Kieran Tierney at the City game, he looked a little bit forlorn at the end, like most of the players. And if you would pick one player that's most dedicated to Mikel Arteta, you would probably say Kieran Tierney is that player. But I just saw a slight warning sign that afternoon.
Yeah, man, that seems to be the norm. Eventually, he wears on you, and not in a good way,
Yeah,
right? He
you sort
wears
of
on you,
lose faith a little bit, right?
and the older you are, the sooner it comes, right? The youngsters are probably just happy to be there, but the players that have been doing this for a little bit of time now are like, this is just not, this isn't what I signed up for, right? This is not what Arteta is selling us. This is not what he sold us. This is not his pedigree. This is not, this is not something you would expect from somebody who's been under a Pep for some time and is considered, to have gotten the job because of that. So something's not right. He's not getting the best out of his players. He's not putting them in positions to succeed. They are failing because
You
they,
talking about on the job training, Gary?
yeah, and you know what? That works fine when you have somebody next to you helping you out, right? Like if you have for example, Louise who's actually done it many times over, right? And a Gabriel who's never done it right next to him, you get something out of that. You have a parte with a partner next to him, right? As far as he came in with a lot of credentials that meant he could take the job, and we've seen it once in a while. We need to see it all the time. Arteta doesn't have that, and that's disappointing. As somebody, I was watching a pod today, and basically Arteta's got nobody with European football experience anywhere
On his staff.
below him and above him. Essentially, nobody that's worth it, worth a damn, as they would say, right? Nobody in the board level that's going to give him that. Definitely not the owners. Udu has no European experience. He can't help him, right? And what are these assistants doing? They don't seem to have, and they don't seem to be at least taking on the load from him, right? Right? So he seems to be the one doing everything, which is good. It's commendable, but it doesn't help him in the long term because he needs to be able to delegate, and they need to be able to do their job, right? And I don't think they're doing their job. The same way he let go Renarson, or he was happy to let go of Renarson, that's got to happen to his assistants. Are they doing their job? I don't think so. I don't know. It can't. Something's not right there. This whole process, this whole system isn't working, and I don't see it. I don't see it.
Even the new guy needs fired.
Yeah, like nothing seems to be working for me from what I see, and he should be getting all the help he needs. If he is, if they have a long term plan for him, that only works as if they have a long term plan for him, meaning that he has everything that he needs at his disposal. Giving him money isn't helping because, like most people have said, we probably could get some of the same results from the players we let go, right? The way they're playing right now. So what's the point? Yeah, you spend all that money and you get the same results, and we'll see. You know, we'll see. You bring in a Tavage and a Zombie to be backups. and they're not being played as backups. Why
Like
do they
so.
need? Why? Why not?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, right? Like Ben White will play, we expect that, right? But yeah, it was just saying. I see this last comment here from Riddy.
But
Benai has publicly
nice
backed
comment.
him, and that that isn't that like the, uh, you know, is Benai a guy that anybody thinks is going to help him out in terms of football?
Probably backed Arteta.
Yeah, I don't
Mm.
think. To me, that doesn't. I don't get. I don't feel confident with that. Benai is not a football person. Once again, he can sell you what he does, like the marketing stuff, like jerseys and whatever, but he's not helping him in a football capacity.
You can sell you
So
that fourth kid in November, right,
yeah,
Gary?
so for me, he's not like I said, they don't have any football
Mm.
people that have done this in the European market, right? They have it in South America, but we don't play there. We don't play there. We play over here in Europe, right? And
Yeah.
it's not helping. So he needs all the help. If he's
He
like
needs
like
he
I said,
needs experience beside him. He
he
needs
needs he
experience
needs
beside him.
somebody he can bounce things off. Somebody that will tell him no. Let's think about this
Yeah.
before you go down that road,
Yeah.
right? Is Kolasinac the right decision, or why are you playing him against West Brom?
Remember.
Isn't that why
Remember.
Savage is here?
Yeah.
And then why are you playing him against City? Is this going to work?
Remember the mistakes you've made last season, Mikel. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to play Granit Xhaka, drop it into that left back position again? Tony, Emil Smith Rowe and Buendia and Aston Villa, they seem to run for quite a part of the summer. Aston Villa spending the money they knew that they were going to have with Grealish going to City.
Yeah, the deal took a lot too long for Smith Rowe, dragged on like Saka's did. It's scary if they could we lose young promising player. He thought I thought I could spend 50 or 60 million and get Smith Rowe, knowing this Arsenal. And to answer Stan's question there, I think we'll go with a back three, so I think he will start.
But the fact that we have to ask that question means that it's not 100%, right? Right?
I think it would be. I think he's going to be a starter.
100%.
100%.
You're
I'm not sure at
100%.
what position.
I
but he'll be
will
a
tell
starter.
you he'll play 25 league games.
At what position?
Right back, right wing back, central defender. What do you want from me, hey? I'm not the manager here. The question is he a first team starter? It doesn't ask. Stan doesn't ask if he's going to be a right back, a right wing back, the tea lady, as Stan would say. Okay.
I want information, Ray. Information.
We need to move. We need to keep this thing moving, Tony. We got to get through a few more. Erdegaard comes in, Tony. Are you happy with Erdegaard? We were able to get him at a nice price. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think it's a
at
good
the end, I'm going to ask all of you what was the highlighted window and what your overall thoughts are of the window.
Yeah, I think he was a good buy for the price. I thought he did really good. The 6 months he was with us, 5 months he was with us, I guess. He adapted quickly. Now he can hit the ground running. He knows the players. He knows the league. I think it's a smart signing. Better than Arwar or Madison or any other
Was Madison
dozen
ever
central attacking midfielders were linked to.
Tony? Was Madison ever really an option?
I think he was.
Possibly, if Real Madrid wasn't going to let go of Erdegaard, we probably would have went after Madison, right?
Yeah, because for a couple months or a couple weeks at least, it didn't seem like Madrid wanted to let go of him. Then he started talking about lies that the club told him, and that was the biggest reason he left.
Were we ever really in for Buendia, Tony?
I don't think so.
Not actively, I would say. Not actively. I mean, Buendia was a
We might have
player.
asked about him, but I don't think
Not
we
gonna
ever
lie,
really pursued it.
I think Buendia would have really helped us if we'd have gotten him if we were interested. I don't think we were interested enough in Buendia. Alonso, what's your take on that? Erdegaard, Madison, Buendia?
Odegaard. is a great signing for us. I think that when he was here the first, 6 months he was here, I think that he linked up well with in Memphis Flow and Saka and Lacazette. I think that they were functioning they were they were functioning at the right time. At the right time. But we all wanted to see what he could do in a full season, right? So I think that he liked it here. I think he liked Ateta. I think he likes I think he likes London. I think he likes his teammates and wanted to be around them more often. I think that with Real Madrid, he was never going to get that starting number 10 spot. So I think that this is a great place for him. As a team, there's no high expectations right now. To get that far at the table, or at least qualify for Champions League just yet. So I think that he's in the right situation for him, and I think that you know what- the best is yet to come for him. I think that
Mhm.
with the right players in front of him and on the side of him, I think that he'd be all right. I think this is the right choice for him. But as far as Addison and Mendia, I think Madison. I think that Dusty was playing hardball. I think that they didn't want to let him go because of how they feel about him. I think he was just too talented for them to let go.
Yeah,
Um, Arsenal maybe could afford him. Who knows? But I think that they were just set on Odegaard and Arwar. Who knows? I think Leon. We all know how bad of a deal that there was a chairman, right? Or he obviously has a hard time when he tries to like that. Who's the guy from Leon?
Kamara's
Yeah, right. No, no, no.
or our who's from our
No. The guy who's in charge of Leon.
uh, the president
Right,
Aulas.
right. So
Aulas.
he's gonna
Yeah,
play hardball as well
yeah.
because
And he played hardball with us all last summer as well.
yeah. So that's always a risky move. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, Odegaard, I think that was always our maybe not our first choice, but he was up there, and we got him, so we had to be happy he's here.
Yeah, Gary. Leicester City, having missed out on the top four for 2 seasons running, it was always going to be difficult to prize Madison away. Leicester City won the FA Cup, and probably looking at that as maybe a stepping stone to push on further into the top four, and maybe get into that Champions League as well.
That will be interesting to see how they take that FA Cup win and whether they do build on it. Because
Yeah,
I think we tried to do that, didn't
yeah,
work. In terms of Madison over Erdiger, I think one's experience, one's not, right? You know what you're going to get. Like he's going to be a starter when he comes, depending on he'll play in one or two positions when he plays for Arsenal, right? So that's the difference. Like Erdegaard may have to sit sometimes to let Emilsworth Rowe play, but yeah, I think they needed to get two, right? Two players. They only got one, so
two creative midfield, two creative
yeah,
players.
yeah.
Even though we've got Emil Smith Rowe already.
I think we needed to because I think that would have opened up maybe some other ways to play.
Yeah,
That's kind of my thinking there.
I didn't like
But
the balance at City at all with Granit Xhaka flanked by Emil Smith Rowe and Erdegaard.
yeah, which one is it? Is it because of the two players in front of him or the player behind the two? Which one is it?
Well, which players are you talking about?
Well, you're talking about Xhaka being behind two players, right?
But
Well,
behind the
what's the
two
problem?
eights, yeah.
Ray
Is the
was giving
problem?
me shit for
I
letting
didn't
a
like the
single.
balance. I didn't like
No,
Granit
no.
Xhaka. Granit Xhaka was, not to excuse him, but he was out of his depth against City in
He's not a
midfield.
central
That's what I'm
defensive
saying. So if that's
midfielder.
Partey, you might feel a lot better about it, right?
Partey is probably more equipped to do it, but I wouldn't put Partey in as a lone central
I
midfielder.
would put
No,
Zombie there. I think Zombie
See,
would.
you're telling me that you'd rather have Xhaka back there than Partey.
No, I'm saying I'd rather have both of them in there rather than flanked by either Erdegaard or Emil Smith Rowe. The balance was completely off.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Saturday.
but that's the thing. So you put that you. So once again, Lego binary, Lego logic. Why are you putting your players out of position
Bad
and
position.
expecting some,
Yeah.
especially in the biggest game you're going to play in the first 3 matches that you have? You're going to
This
do that.
was the false 9 in 2021.
I mean, he's gonna. Why? Why? It's not that difficult. This game isn't that difficult. You play to your strengths. You put your players in positions to succeed.
Yep.
You figure out how not to get beat up by the other team.
We
Right?
can see it, Gary, but Mikel cannot.
I mean, he's.
We know what back three formation works. We know what players work in it, but our Teta apparently doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So to finish up on Erdegaard, Gary, you're happy with the acquisition?
I'm happy with it. I mean, it kind of confirms that we should have just been able to. It would have been nice to have just bought him out, right? So that he would have been in. He would have been playing. He would have been with the team preseason and got a full preseason.
Yeah, we had to wait for Real Madrid to sort their shit out first.
No, I understand, but it doesn't help us when we have to wait. You know, we have to wait, and then this manager needs all the time in the world to get things, and it doesn't really matter, right? It still didn't help, right? Like I said, we'll get to it, but we've had players in since the start of preseason. Yeah. Which one of the players that came in since the beginning of preseason has actually looked good in midfield besides Emil Smith Rowe?
Zombie.
Lakanga.
Yeah.
All right, Tony. We're going to go quickly through Erdegaard.
You're going to get a penalty every time you say Lakanga.
Erdegaard.
It's Zombie.
Tony,
I know Albert, Alonso. You're going to get punished for that too. It's Zombie.
I'm going to go Lakanga. He can go Albert. It's okay. Alonso. I'm with you here. I'm ready, set here. Just it's pretty slow in the chat, so let's kick it up in the chats. Come on. I know it's the interlull, but let's not all be sleepy here. Just a reminder that El Neni is still the GOAT in our midfield, and he's probably going to. I don't want him to go, to be honest, but we'll have a little chat about that. Tony, Erdegaard, Tony.
I already told you.
You like it? Okay. Next one up is
pay attention.
Aaron Ramsdale. I wasn't particularly happy with this in the early stages. We're going to go and get our goalkeeper situation has been a mess for the last 12 months. Yes, I'm going to say Emi Martinez and Leno. We all know what happened there.
I was holding back talking about it earlier, and you said, nope, I'm going to bring him up anyways.
I said no.
No, you brought his name into this whole discussion already. I was holding back because Tony was talking. I was like, you know what? And I was like, no, I'll keep it.
Bernd Leno and Emi Martinez. For me, Martinez was a better goalkeeper.
He's gone, Ray. That's the past.
Yes, listen, it's been borne out in the last year. Bernd Leno is not.
Let's talk about Rams now.
We're getting there. Jesus Christ.
He can't get. He has to get his Emmy fixed, Tony. Sorry.
Bernd Leno is.
Ray's trying to speed this fucker up.
All right, Tony, just go. Go on, Ramsdale. I'll let you go. Go.
I thought it was a little too much, but it says take a little bit much to get a number 2 keeper to come in, knowing they'll probably be sitting on the bench with no promises of being first team. And that's why Emmy left, because he wasn't going to get any guarantees. He didn't want to sit on the bench and wanted to go somewhere to start. So it's kind of, to me, it's a moot point ever bringing it up because we were never going to keep both of them. One player was worth £1.5 million in February. The other one was worth $24 million. And when you sell them for $16 million, the one that was worth 1.5, that's a better option.
Even though Leno would have went for 25 million.
I don't think he would have went for that much.
Leno would have sold for more than Martinez, guaranteed, a year ago.
Well, we spent 22 on him, so it's $2 million profit.
You made a profit. You made 16 times on on Emmy if that's his worth.
It's not about making profit. It's about keeping the best players, Gary.
That's what I wanted.
You
We're
know,
not gonna. I didn't want to bring it up, but you just started. I didn't want to even bring him up. I was trying. I was like, yeah, let's have an
the reason
Emmy
I,
free
I
Ray
was
podcast.
likes rabbit holes. Anyone he sees, he's head first
well,
into it.
listen. I don't want to bring up Emmy Martinez again a year later, but the goalkeeper
Fuck, you bring him up
situation.
every week.
The goalkeeper situation has been mismanaged for the last 12 months through four goalkeepers. And I see Gary for the first time, he's nodding in agreement. And Gary's been shaking his head a lot tonight. We're gonna get your we're gonna get your final verdict later,
I want
Gary.
to
On
know
the
who the hell's
window.
down at Ramsdale. Or not
Um,
Ramsdale, but
but listen, I wasn't on board with Ramsdale, but what I've seen is a kid that's enthusiastic about coming to play for the club, and we need that enthusiasm. We've seen it with Sambi Lakonga. We've seen it with Nuno. The enthusiasm can go a long way if you have the right energy at the club, and that's what the club needs. We need players who are going to dig in um, and work for the crest that's on the shirt. Alonso, your thoughts on Aaron Ramsdale? I thought he did quite well against West Brom when he played out from the back really well. And
Yeah,
Bernd Leno probably has a fight on his battle in the next 4 to 5 months.
yeah, I hope so. I think that Ramsdale, in my opinion, has more to offer, and they don't communicate with the defenders,
Hmm.
and that's one of Brent Leno's weaknesses is that he doesn't know how to communicate. He gets flustered. He doesn't know how to kick the ball out under pressure. He plays from the back far too often.
Doesn't command
And
his area.
right, exactly. So with Ramsdale, he's English, which I don't mind, but it's a plus. Um, and from what I've seen and read, I believe he was like the future of English goalkeeping. Whether or not he's number one or number two, it depends on who you ask about that. Needless to say, I think that we haven't had an English goalkeeper in a while. It's been a while, so it's good to see that as well. And I think that the game against West Brom was a good game for him to play in because it's League Cup and against West Brom, so the pressure isn't really on him. But he made some good saves, and I think that's what impressed me about him the most is that he's okay under pressure.
Yeah, listen, the thing about Ramsdale is I get a little touch of Jordan Pickford about him, and he wasn't a great goalkeeper for a number of years. So Arsenal fans, we're gonna have to get used to if Ramsdale's between the sticks, he's gonna make a few mistakes here and there. But we're in this for the long haul. We've actually signed 6 players in this window under 23, and I actually feel like we need to sign a couple of experienced players in there to help them. Get through a couple of comments that I'm just going to duck out for a second. Um, the signing of Ramsdale, Reddy said, is a rare moment of succession planning by the club, although at a relatively less important position. And he may be number one by the end of this season as well, Reddy. Pick one healthy drink, Gary, uh, or alcohol. Okay.
Hey guys, I gotta get going. I gotta be at work tomorrow morning early,
All right.
so see you
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
see
Alonso.
you,
Thanks for
Alonso.
joining.
And take it easy.
John
See ya.
Smith.
Bye.
John Smith said if you were to analyze Emmy's performance with Villa, you'd see he's not immune to mistakes. I agree with Ray. I've lost faith in Leno. Ramsdale has a lot of heart and is a better goalkeeper. He needs to start. And Gary, your take on this? I'm just going to pop out for a second and leave you with Ramsdale, and you guys can continue talking with Runerson as well.
Yeah, I know. So for me, one, Ramsdale coming in at that particular price, for me, that means I'm expecting him to be the starter for Arsenal. So with that, I expect him to be when he's ready to just play. You know, uh, if this was a different player, we would have just started him as a different position. They would have just started. You bring them in at that particular price. He's the future. Is there something you need to see from him before he gets to play? I don't think so. You went and went
He
out
looked
and spent all
ready.
that. You went and spent all that money for him. You obviously want him to play, so he should play as soon as he's ready. I mean, that's we saw that kind of with Partey. We definitely saw that with Erdiger. So those players that Arteta is comfortable with and confident with, they should just play. So yeah, I want Ramsdale to just keep playing, and if that means Leno has to sit, that's just this is how it works out. He he's made it known that he's not necessarily ready to stay with Arsenal, right? He's not going to sign his contract, so why should the team, give him the benefit of the doubt, and let him play? They should just play the player that they want for the long haul. Because this season, we're not fighting for top 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, probably, right? We'll be lucky to get anywhere close to that. So let him play, let him work out the kinks, because that's what we need anyways, and move on. Right. So yeah, I want Ramsdale in there. I liked what I saw from him. He commands his box. He communicates a lot more, and we miss that. I like that when we saw it from Matty Ryan. I mean, those type of goalkeepers, I think, is what we need. I know Emmy does have his flaws, and I don't think we're going to be able to get that top goalkeeper. Leno has flaws, and we're living with those, right? So hey there, that's mom. But yeah,
Oh,
so yeah, give me
Gary's ball.
Ramsdale, give me more Ramsdale. He's got what, 2 weeks playing with the team right now, and he's playing with the starting center backs, right? Depending on how we're going to line up, right? Gabriel and White, he's playing with them right now for 2 weeks essentially, right? They're not going anywhere.
Develop some understanding. And there is some rumor that maybe he's going to start in the Norwich game, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. John Smith said here, Leno should have dealt with the cross for the first City goal. It was across a 6-yard box. Ramsdale would have caught it. I'm a little bit minded to talk about hockey here because you need your goalkeeper, Gary, to give you something, give the rest of the team something to build on.
Uh,
And you start building up a defense. The goalkeeper is the first line of defense, stopping something early on, and the goalkeeper can grow into a game. We just don't see Leno having that
Leno
kind
likes
of
to punch the ball too much.
yeah,
And it takes him.
I think to me, it's no different than what I see sometimes from Xhaka. They will not, they will not take it to the edge, right? Where you just go a little bit crazy. They'll just like they'll play it safe. He doesn't like the one time I saw him come out and get the ball at his highest point. I think he fell down. He landed, he landed and fell down, and I don't think he liked that. That's why we never see him do it. I'm guessing here, but that's what I feel like. He will not put himself in dangerous situations to preserve himself. For what reason, I'm not sure. We want the goalkeeper to get out there and punch that ball out of there when he needs to. Go grab it when
put
it has
himself
to
in
be
harm's
done.
way.
Right? He has to be able to do that. That's why
Yeah.
when he got held in the Brentford game, you're like, what are you doing? You
He
cannot let
he
that
just
happen
gave
to you.
up in that instance, Gary.
Yeah.
This
He,
is the malaise in the team that we're looking at, the cancer that's in the team that we want to eradicate,
yeah.
in my opinion.
And the team needs all the help they can get with the goalkeepers. When the balls are coming in like flying in there, the one person that can go out there and get it and know that if somebody clips me from the other side, I'm going to get the call. But he's so hesitant. He's either going to be late or he's just not going to come out with any kind of authority, and then we pay for that, right? Like I always say to you, I need him to make that play. He always makes plays, right? He always makes stops,
Something,
but I need him to make that one where you go. If he doesn't do
and
that, we're in
maybe
trouble.
you
As
need,
opposed to if he doesn't, you know what? Because now what we're saying is if he doesn't make that stop, we lose by more goals, and that's not what I want. I want, that first shot that comes in that the other team thinks they got it. No, he makes that play. He stops it. Whatever they thought they had is not there, and
and
then we continue to move on.
what you need, Gary, is you need a player like that making a save and inspiring the rest of his team, and then the rest of the team. All right, we're in this game now. We've just stopped City from scoring a goal here,
Yeah.
but Leno is too passive. He's like the rest of the Arsenal team. He's very
Yeah,
passive.
and we need
Lets
we
things
need some
happen.
fire, and it's just what concerns me is basically what you said earlier. Tierney is like
Yeah.
he's getting nullified.
His shoulders are dropping.
He's
And
getting nullified
we
by
need shoulders
yeah.
lifted.
Yeah, he's
Right.
getting nullified by his manager because he's not allowing him. Once again, we're not allowing our players to express themselves. Right? That game, somebody needed to be pissed off. We're losing 2-0, and no way should we look that bad the way we're giving up the goals. Somebody should have been screaming. Like when Leno makes a really bad pass to Marie, Marie's screaming at Leno. In that game, somebody needs to be screaming at the whole team, going, "What are we doing? We're not that bad." It
Tony,
doesn't. It doesn't matter the squad. It just matters that you actually care.
yeah. Tony, I've said this before, and I really believe this. You see opposing teams, any team in the league in the lower half of the league, will go into City and will try their best. And if they're given the slightest opportunity by a team like City to get a goal, they'll start believing in themselves. Arsenal is that team that believes what the press is going to tell them. We're not good enough to go to City and win. And Arsenal believe that before they go out onto the pitch even.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we play a 4-2-3-1 like Nuno does. I think we should have been playing that tape over and over again because we have the right players to play counter-attacking football, got the speed for it in our front four. But for whatever reason, we decided to put Zaka in there as a lone central defensive midfielder and back three, something we never did before. The players looked totally clueless for the first 20 minutes. And again, you don't know what Arteta is doing. It looked like something we never practiced or maybe spent 15 minutes on in one training session. Just didn't work.
Tony, we've been talking about this. Arsenal go and get some players from the lower leagues. Go and get a player that's hungry. Could Ramsdale be that kind of player? Because John Smith sums this up perfectly here. Ramsdale has sacrificed the opportunity to play regular first-team football with Sheffield United to sign for Arsenal. That speaks volumes about his passion for the club. And I liked his first interview, Tony. He said, "I'm here to compete for the shirt. I'm here to push Bernd Leno as far as I can to get that shirt off of his back."
Yeah, it sounds like he has plenty of confidence. And last year we named 3 or 4 players that were relegated or close to being relegated that we should have went after. We didn't go after any of them. I don't know why we don't go after more of these teams that get relegated or even teams that are regularly playing in the championship that don't get promoted. To me, it's a good thing to go. They're experienced in Britain. They know the game. They know the speed. They know the strength. The teams play harder. Makes sense that people are already adapted to a culture, adapted to a weather, and used to the play.
Tony, let's answer this question from Stan. After spending 150 million this window and over 200 million overall, should the owners who have backed him be expecting European football qualification this season?
But this thing kind of pisses me off because we talked about this for 10 years about how good it would be to not be in a Champions League so we could make a title run. And now we're sitting here, oh, it'd be okay if we finish 6th to get into Europa. It's bullshit. For targets to be top 4, you have no other excuses, nothing else you're playing for.
Yeah.
We've got enough FA Cups in a trophy cabinet to last us a lifetime. Go out there and try to win the league or finish as high as you can.
Mm-hmm.
6 isn't good enough. Our goal last year was top 4, and now we don't have any of the distractions of Europa.
Our sights keep being lowered by the club, Gary.
And by the fans. It's just bullshit.
Spend 150 million, 200 million just to stand still. Yeah. Not even to stand still. Not even to be better.
Everybody outside of Arsenal keeps talking about the Arsenal. The people wearing the shirts don't think of it like that, which is disappointing, right? It's disappointing that they don't feel like they should be able to go out there and win these matches, right? They shouldn't be able to go out there and do what they need to do to get the win, right? They don't go out there and do that. They don't show that they're going to give 110%, and that's the problem right there. Yeah, the owner, like, this should be plain and simple. They don't, if they get, for example, they get knocked out of the two cup games that they're going to play, he should be fired.
Well,
He
I,
should be
I
fired because you know what? Those are the easiest ones to get. Those ones don't. Those are the easiest ones to get because they require less games, right? A lot of teams are going to be taxed more than us going into those
mhm,
matches,
mhm.
so there should be no reason why we shouldn't be able
European
to compete
European
for at least one of
football.
them.
We're going to be sat at home midweek with our feet up,
Yeah,
watching the European football, European games.
yeah,
I think the answer's in the question here, Stan. You've basically put it together. I think the minimum expectation should be qualification for European football of some way, shape, or form
yeah.
after spending 150 million or 200 million overall.
Would be
Uh,
top four.
yeah, but the minimum requirement, he will be fired if he does not get us into European competition next.
Minimum last year was top four. We finished
It
eighth. He should
doesn't
have been
matter how we
fired in
get
the
to
summer.
European football, Tony. It doesn't. Right now, it doesn't matter how we get there because it didn't matter when we got the FA Cup
When we
win,
won the FA
right?
Cup, we all
It
we
didn't.
all
It
took
didn't
that as a
matter because
bonus.
that gave us another those that gave us those games. The next thing was to build on that and say we move up the table, and we didn't do that. We regressed. So now we're like, you know what? You don't have any excuses. Here's extra money. You got less games to play. You don't travel as much. You're not playing Thursday, Sunday, so no excuses. The team should come out to be should be at the strongest every time we play. We did not do that against City. We didn't put our strongest team out there, so that's disappointing. Why? What are we saving them for? For the international break? No, play them. Right? We're already 3 games in. We're resting players. Why? We're playing players that we know
Mhm.
cannot get the job done.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
Arteta spins a wheel to pick the lineup.
This is? I mean, what? If he wants to get fired, just do something really silly so you can get out the door now. Because I don't want to. I don't like. We're dragging this thing on. All right. We're dragging it on and on and on, and then it's going to be December. We're going to be back where we were last December, like going, "What the
Speaking,
world's going on? Can we just finish this thing off?" And then so he goes on and I don't want to. I don't want the repeat of last season. No mini.
no,
No, I don't want.
we do not want to go into winter in the form that we did last season, Gary. But yeah, I think minimum requirement is qualification for the European for European football. Um, Gary, it's going on and on in the transfer window here. Nelson got his loan moved to Feyenoord, I believe, the Dutch league. Hector Bellerin's moved on to Real Betis, and Willian, we got to call out Willian for good stuff this time. He's actually cancelled his contract and left 20 million with the club. Hopefully, they're going to put to good use. But
He
apparently,
still made 14 million in a
I'm not
year.
saying it's the same 20 million, but they're talking in the chats about 15, 20 million going missing. I'm not saying it's the same cash outlay, but
Well, I don't. You know, if that's what it takes to change the team makeup somehow, if that's what Edu has done and he needs to go, they could. It's got to be a positive because something big needs to change, right? The owner is not going anywhere. Sounds like Benai's. The board members aren't going anywhere. Maybe it's Edu. We always. It sounds
mhm.
like Overmar's already put his hand in. Had his hand up and said, "I'll help." Right? Maybe. I mean, the fact that that's happening again, that money's missing, right? That money that shouldn't be spent is gone. That's that's why we're in the situation we are. We just have a bad run team, right?
Did
If that's
Raul come
true,
back and steal 20
yeah,
million?
no, if that's actually true, then we'd learn nothing. We're back to where we were before. We got to redo this whole thing. Let go of Adu. He's the one that passed this one through whoever made this happen and start all over again. This is where it needs to stop at some point. This is the rot that we're talking about. This is the core that we need to kind of clean out. You know, and get better. It's just
Bargaff was wondering about Willian. Hopefully, it's just good grace, but not many athletes do that. I figured off book accounting. So
yeah.
either way, I think he's cancelled his contract with Arsenal, and we have to commend him. It didn't work out. The player wanted to go and play football. He didn't want to sit on a contract like Saeed Kolasinac or even Eddie Nketiah, who wanted to get paid more money to sit on the bench than getting paid slightly less to play every week.
And you're gonna make that. He's gonna make that money up if he's really confident in the way that he plays, right? If Eddie Nketiah really believes that he's worthy of a starting position or better, more playing time or whatever it is, it's not that big of a cut, to go play, because you're gonna make it up, especially if you go somewhere that wants you and pays you, they're gonna have to pay you to keep playing. So
As
you
Stan
know,
said,
he got the
Fine, we mentioned this earlier in the podcast. I think William's grandmother got that money for him, just stuffed it under his. There you go, kid. There you go, son. Have
I
that
kind
money.
of I kind of feel like his afro is looking a little different, and that's why it's
This
like, what's
filter,
going on with that afro? Something doesn't look
some
right. It
green,
doesn't move the way
green
it used
tints.
to. It's like not moving much. It's like something's in there.
Got a lot of lettuce in there, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
A lot of bread. A lot of
yeah.
bread. Bargav said, I really liked William. I wanted him at Arsenal for the longest. It's sad, money aside, for a guy to fail like that. Yeah, I wanted him before he went to even, I think, he was on the way. Stan tells the story. He was on the way to Tottenham and turned around and went to Chelsea. It was kind of nice when that happened. Um,
You know what? I always go back to it. I believe Arteta is the reason why it failed. It's not. It's not necessarily only
listen,
William. He wasn't
um,
supposed to play all those
a
matches.
lot of players will say that, Gary.
No, no, but he wasn't supposed to play all those matches. I don't believe to get the best out of him that you play him as much as they did. He didn't need to do that. And like if man, I don't remember how many games he played for Chelsea, but I just don't think that was a good plan to play him so much. Right?
He was one of the biggest chance creators for Chelsea. That's one of the reasons why we targeted him. So
Hmm.
he probably played quite a bit for Chelsea, especially the first part of the season. William, okay, Hector Bellerin, Tony, Hector
Adios.
Bellerin, huh?
Adios.
Say something nice about Hector.
Uh, he liked eating vegan. He liked vegan stuff. Environmentally friendly. That's about all I can say nice about him.
Listen, a good spokesperson for the club, but that's not what you want. You want a good player and a good athlete to perform well. And I think you could look at Hector Bellerin's career at Arsenal and sort of point to the exact timeline of where everything started to go wrong in the running of the club. Gary, a young player that burst onto the scene, he looked brilliant in the beginning, first few years, and he just sort of fell into a malaise. Hector Bellerin.
Sorry,
John,
is that for me?
yeah.
Hector Bellerin. Bye.
One of
No,
the sins of Arteta. So we lost Willian and we lost Bellerin. Two
yeah,
of the sons of Arteta are gone.
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's good for Arsenal. I mean,
He should have been gone 6 seasons ago when
yeah.
Madrid or
Well,
Not 6
Barcelona
seasons
offered
ago.
50 million for him.
You always want to cash in. Does he really want to cash in at the height of those times, Gary?
no,
Do you know
no.
what
But you
happened?
know what? As soon as he came back and he wasn't the player that they wanted, that was basically the red flag. Like, you
What
know
Right.
what,
happened after
fellas,
that
this is
summer, right?
that it's time for it's time.
Him and
You know what?
Mustafi cost us 30 points
Yeah,
back there,
yeah.
goofing off.
Nah, it just
We
wasn't
could
going
have
to work.
finished top
But
two, if not
yeah,
won the league that year.
yeah. No, he was. It was time for him to go. But once again, they're either they just can't sell players, or they're expecting players to go for a certain price that they're not even worth. Bellerin never came back to where you wanted him to go. I mean, I just remember like, okay, this is the good Bellerin, this is what we want to see, and then he got injured in that
That
game,
injury against
and
Chelsea.
then
I
like
remember it.
you're like, damn, because it looked like he was coming back into the form that you wanted to see, and then that we wanted to see consistently, and then boom, he was gone, and
Yeah.
it never came back.
I remember that game against Chelsea. We played a diamond formation with Ramsey in there. Got the best out of Ramsey. Think he stopped Eden Hazard that that evening. Uh, Koscielny was in the team, and I think Koscielny scored, and Lacazette scored. We beat Chelsea 2-0, and that was only 2 or 3 seasons ago, Gary.
Yeah, and we saw glimpses of it, but it didn't work out. And once again, like it's bad luck for Arsenal because they have no plan to sell those types of players, right? Or they have some number in their head that doesn't match, right? Doesn't match at all, and then they have to hold on to them, And then they felt and like once again the whole. You know what? We're going to re-sign them to get to hold on to their value, and the value's going down. Who does that, right? So all these little things that they did backfired every time. But yeah, no, he showed some glimpses, and then it was gone. Yeah,
and the injury, I think, had a part to play in his decline as well. So that's Hector Bellerin. We wish him actually all the best at Real Betis. I understand that is the club that his father supported. So, Tony.
Yeah, they sent out a tweet 2 years ago asking when they could start negotiating for him. Apparently, it takes 2 years to get him.
Yeah, I think Arteta again asked him to stay last season.
Yeah, but why would he want to?
After
Grealish basically just like beat him up for like 90 minutes. That's probably when, like, if you're as a team, you look at that and go, "Ooh, this is not going to work for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't going to work for us. Something needs to change." And yeah, it should have been.
Next player on the list, Gary, somewhat a right back, maybe not specialist. Sometimes wants to play in midfield. Can you guess the player I'm talking about?
I don't know who you're talking about.
He played at right back. He wants to play in midfield.
Yeah, Maitland-Niles.
Guess that player.
Like I told you, my decision would have been you play right back or you leave. Right?
Yeah, but he said he wanted to play right back.
Well, obviously Arteta doesn't think he does because he went out and got one. So and this is what's so confusing with all of that. So if he said he wanted to play right back before they got Tomiyasu, then what's going on? Because they didn't bring him in to play that position when they brought him in, right? It makes no sense. As somebody said, make it make sense, right?
Lego binary.
It doesn't make any sense what's going on there. He says he wanted to play supposedly, and then you don't play him there. Then he wants to know really what the plan is, and he got to the point where he had to put it on the social networks, and that I think that was poor.
Instagram.
It was poor for him to do that, right? But
I don't think so. It's the second time.
No, it's poor. It's poor for him to do that if he's trying to be professional about this whole thing.
A professionally run club, Tony. It's very.
It's not. It doesn't matter. You know what? As somebody said,
word out somehow.
But the team is screwing him over. Yes, but he doesn't have to stoop to that level and try to, because he's not going to get anything out of it. And Arsenal's going to mess it up anyways. Has he not looked at what happens? They screw it up every time. So you better when they're off sound mind, they screw it up. So now you're going to piss them off. That's going to be. So what do? The first thing they did is they sit him on the side and say, "You don't get to practice." What? So you're not going to sell him.
Yeah.
Now you're not going to play him. You're just going to pay him to sit. What are you doing? It makes none of that makes any sense, does it?
Why
You
wouldn't
know,
you just sold him right then instead of putting him mixed?
exactly. If you don't want him on your team, then he's got to go. So he's out on loan, or you sell him. Somebody would have bought him.
And
Arsenal
we
would have
got
asked
offered
for,
20 million for him last summer. He didn't
yeah.
play him.
Well, now they're going to ask for 10 because they know Arsenal's desperate. And Arsenal's going to go, I want 20 from last year, and it's
Like
like
I said, last
20's
season
gone.
he refused to sell him for 20 million, didn't play
Yep.
him, then loaned him out.
Yep.
Now he supposedly wants him again.
Tony, as Gary said, this gets you nothing except clear the air talks, and Arteta has said that he will use him this season.
I don't believe him. I'm sorry to butt
I
in
don't
there.
think he will
That's
either.
okay. Tony has butt in on you many times, so you can pay back.
No, I mean I think we're all in the same boat. Like they are not. They don't have a plan that they are disciplined and follow over and over again. Where you like know, the only thing you know is that if you talk back, you get punished. That's it.
Yeah. As
Right?
Reddy said here, you don't post negative stuff about your employers. He's lucky to get away without an exile. And, certainly if this was in a regular job, it would be not a good situation, let's say. We'll also have players leaving for the African
Yeah,
Cup.
we'll have to have some cover in the midfield.
Right.
We're not having
So,
anybody there.
Tony, Stan is saying that Ainsley Maitland-Niles will get an opportunity. Do you believe that?
Yeah, in February when African Cup of Nations starts.
So you're saying Ainsley Maitland-Niles will not get any starts until January?
Maybe in cup games. I don't think he's going to get any league starts.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go along with that. I think he'll get some starts in the cup games. What do you think, Gary?
I mean, I think he needs to get some starts in the Premier League.
He'll probably
long before that.
On as
Long
a
before.
substitute in the last.
You think he will, but will he, Gary?
No, will he? I have a feeling he's going to get shut out. That's what I think is going to happen. I just don't think they really want him. I think they're doing exactly what you don't expect them to do: bring back a player and then extend them. That doesn't make any sense, and this is going to not make any sense. They've shown us over and over and over and over and over again
Ad nauseum.
that they're going to do things that make no sense. Right?
Reddy is. I agree with you, Reddy. He definitely should start against Wimbledon.
And he won't, and then you'll be like, why? Because this is the
Oh,
game he
come
should,
on.
right?
He has to play these kind of games.
Zombie should have played against West Brom, but he didn't. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And then he needed some time on the field.
He needs a rest.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles. These are the almost Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Kolasinac. These are players who are not going to see many minutes until January, and then they will probably need their way out in January. The last person.
Like Kolasinac might go to Turkey before then.
You can't say that, but isn't he staying because in February you're going to lose all of your African nation players?
Ainsley Maitland?
Yeah.
In January.
If you lose him in January, then he definitely isn't playing in February.
He'll probably go on the last day of January window.
So then he's not staying to back up the midfield. So why are you keeping him at all then?
You might need him.
For what? For what? You just said he's not going to play unless it's cup games, and even then, you probably can play Zombie if Partey's healthy.
What did I say? What did I say that was wrong?
Nothing.
What did I say wrong?
No. It's. I just don't get why we keeping him. Let him go.
Well, the window has shut and he didn't move, so we're keeping him.
Stupid. So now he's gonna be worth less money, and Arsenal's gonna be like, why can't we get the same amount of money you offered us last, 5 months ago? Silly.
Hey, let's make another announcement on Sunday. We're going to be joining the effort for Ryan, Mr. Arsenal podcast, doing a 24-hour fundraiser for Tony, who needs to. We need to get.
I need to get a leg up.
He needs to get a leg up. He needs his prosthetic leg. It's going to cost him out-of-pocket expenses $10,000, and we need to try and get some awareness going. Some people donating. We have over 1,000 right now, but Tony is going to be on there on Sunday with us. We're going to be on probably this time slot, so come back. What is it? 72 hours from now, 3 days exactly. and you'll see us here, and you'll see Ryan before. We're actually going to do an Arsenal Fan Circle podcast leading up to it as a warm up as well. And if you see Gary getting a little steamed up right now, it's because of the Arsenal window we're talking about, not the fundraiser for Tony. I've actually been watching Gary the whole podcast, and he's been,
Gary said no leg for
you-
Tony.
you should not play poker, Gary. You should not play poker.
I can play poker. I'm really good at
No,
it.
no
But
two-footed
this is,
challenges.
this is the difference between poker and being a fan. A fan who shows their emotions all the time. All right.
Yeah.
Well, so or else you're not a fan if you basically like sit there all stoic. You're winning by 5. You're losing by 5. Nah, that's not fun.
There's the Twitter for Ryan. So come and see us there. Come and see us here 2 hours before it all kicks off at 7 p.m. UK time on Sunday. So, Gary, they kept him. We can't change the club decisions. LOL.
I still think it's stupid. All right.
We
It's a
touched
shit
on,
decision.
Tony, we touched on Nketiah. Now, if Eddie had gone to Crystal Palace for the fee that he should have gone, played football, we
You
could
want to
have
take your
gotten
pay cut?
we could have gotten Hudson Edward, right?
Yep. That makes me and Stan both mad.
Me too.
To me, Eddie and Reese Nelson should have been the first 2 players out the window. But now
If
Nelson's out
if
alone.
only life went the way
Eddie's still
you
with
wanted
us.
it.
Boomerang, you don't know what he's going to do this year.
Mm.
Lacazette will probably still be pretty good. But we need at least one more striker, if not
Yeah.
2 more strikers.
I agree with you.
Edward for $14 million. I would have spent my money in a heartbeat.
No brainer.
Like I said, right when we sold Willock, I would have went straight to Celtic, put him in the car, put him in a boot, wherever he wants to sit at, drove his ass back, then he'd been playing for
Front
Arsenal.
seat. I would have put him in the front seat. I had a chat with him all the way down.
I'd put him anywhere. I'd just get him.
Didn't have to kidnap him.
Yeah.
It was quite simple. Eddie goes to Palace. We get Edward. Gary, what's your take on this?
Another one of these. What are we
Could have, should
How
have.
many
would have.
head scratchers
Leg-
do we need?
Lego binary, Lego logic, Arteta ball. It just makes no sense. Once again, we are not going to play him, but we want top dollar for him.
Mhm.
He hasn't played well when he's played. He hasn't
Yeah, but
played
we
enough.
agreed with Fee.
He hasn't
He
played
was the
enough.
problem. He didn't want to take.
Yeah,
a pay
I
cut.
know.
Touch your Xhaka here. You know, we could have gotten the money. We should have
I
done.
guess you know. Yeah, so that's on.
He
It's
didn't
on him.
agree personal terms,
So
Gary.
this is another Nelson situation, right? You have an opportunity to go out there and get some stuff done. You don't decide not to. You come back and then you sit and you rot on the bench, and then you're like, "Well, that didn't help him in the long term." A team wants you to play. Will go out and spend money on you. You have to take a pay cut to go play. No, I'd rather take the money and sit on the bench. That makes no sense. Long term. He's
Mhm.
still what? How old is he? Like 22?
Oh, he's young. He's 21, 22.
Yeah, 21, 22. So he's got time. And this is not the future he had him set for himself. Like if you asked him his goals when he was 18 and got his first, professional contract with Arsenal, this is not the way it was supposed to go. Nobody plans to do this. Sit on a bench and get paid top dollar and not play. Nope. Yeah, you're one of the highest scoring British players out there, right? And you don't play, right? That doesn't look good on your resume, right? They don't want to play you. Go where you want. Go where you wanted. You take the pay cut. I understand it's a lot of money, but we're talking the long game here sometimes, right? And sometimes you got to take a step back, either in your position or in the money that you get, because long term I'm going to get my money back, right?
Mhm.
Right now
That's
he's not
why
playing. He's not. It's easy. He's not playing, and he won't play. Right? He's third, fourth on the list of strikers we have.
Mikel has started to play him less and less. He did try to play him a little bit last season
And
against
it
Leicester.
didn't help because it just
No.
it just kind of proved that, you know what, this isn't
He's
he's
limited.
not even my third striker. Martinelli or Balogun should be the third. Balogun should have been out on loan, and now he's stuck here. And if you're gonna make the put the investment into him, he's got to play. If you're gonna have the three, you're gonna go to your third striker,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What's the
Um,
point of keeping it? Once you're gonna kill two careers if Eddie plays and Balogun doesn't.
yeah. Tybe, Gary will be partly overjoyed, but he will be really overjoyed if it would be replaced with a decent manager. I feel confident saying that for Gary.
No, I
Right?
mean I think he's not learning.
He's
He's not
not.
learning. He's sticking his hand in the fire, getting burnt, and then sticking his
Put
foot
me
in the
right back
fire
in
and
there.
going, you
Yeah.
know what? Why is my foot burning like my hand did?
Yeah.
Because you're doing the same thing with a different part of the
Yeah.
your body.
Yeah.
It's the same. He
Um,
does this every player. How many players have Arsenal said, you know what? You're not worth the extra 2-3 million
mm,
that well, you're worth, either double. And it's like,
Re-
no,
really,
chill
really
out.
respectfully disagrees about Edward. He's not that good in his opinion. Had a poor show against Rangers, but I think he's better than Eddie and Ketty. I could probably.
Long term, you got to look at a whole season, and you could a season, and you go, all right. If he doesn't give you those numbers, but he gives you a little bit less, you'll take it because it's going to be tougher, right? And also, he's not going to play as much. So then, when he goes out there, he's going to be fighting to take a spot. All right, that's what
Yeah.
we want. We want that hunger.
Tony, how could Palace not agree personal terms? Eddie gets 17K a week. It seems a little bit low to me. Do you think it's?
I think he gets more than that. I thought he's like
I,
40,000 at least.
I would think it might be a little bit higher than that, but obviously, I don't have the facts behind me. Hello, Tony Turner. How you doing? Judging by what Van I said yesterday, I think you'll have to wait for quite a long time then. Okay, Gary. I'm I've gone on record as saying we need strikers this window over a right back. Final in that we're going to talk about was Tomiyasu
Takahiro.
Takahiro Tomiyasu. We've all been practicing that, Gary.
Tomiyasu, yeah.
Gary's been practicing for the last 24 hours.
Nah, I haven't been practicing, but it's either Tommy
I'll go with Tommy long term.
Takahiro or Tomiyasu.
I just do Taco Hero. Just
Yeah.
think of tacos and
No,
heroes.
you know what? Once again, this is the logic played into this situation. What is he? Everybody says, you know what?
Hybrid.
He's a right back, but guess what? He played most of his career as a center back,
He's
or
a hybrid.
and he will move to the middle if he needs to. So he plays everywhere, but he's played recently, right? I believe recently, I think his right back is recently
Yep.
is where he's played most of his last number of games.
With
If
Bologna.
he's not a starting right back, then why do we get him? If he's
He
not
is
a
starting
starter, if he's not a starter, then why do we get him?
He is a
So
starter.
until I see it, I won't believe it.
Because we need 4 right backs, Gary. Haven't you figured that
No,
out?
we've got 4. Now we got 5. Oh, we
Five.
let one go. That's right. We're back to 4 again. You're right.
Hold on now. Hold on. We got Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Right. Do you need me to write these down for you? Cedric. Right.
Chambers,
Chambers.
Taco Hero.
Takahiro. And Tavares.
but
He's
he's
supposed to
more
be a
left,
left back, right?
We have a five-a-side of right backs.
Yeah, who does that? And then then we want to know why we're in this situation. We've essentially got 4 or 5 strikers if you look at it, right? Because depending on depending on the day of the week,
Martinelli, Aubameyang, Lacazette,
Yeah.
Balogun.
yeah.
and
So 5 strikers, and we can't get one. We can't get shots on goal. What? Who has that? And we need the right back and the strikers are positions that we need starters, and we don't. What? This doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. Please.
What's your feeling? What's your take on Takahiro?
He
Get it?
looks good,
Take
and
on
they always, you know what? When they show the highlight reel and they show him against
Gary's
Cristiano,
Take
right?
out with Taco Hero.
Yeah. So when we play, Man United and
Ronaldo.
Takahiro, he walks, he strong arms him,
Marks him
off the ball.
Yeah.
we'll be laughing hopefully. All right. Uh,
I get a good feeling, and all you can do is go by what you've seen on the
yep.
YouTube clips. But I
Yep.
get a good feeling that he's going to be a decent buy for us.
Yeah.
Too early to judge.
It's really early, and hopefully it is. Like Arsenal has done really good with all of their transfers under 20 mil.
Yeah,
Every one of them under 20 mil, they've essentially
yeah.
outside of Renarson, they've done really good with. And Renarson was under five,
Somebody fucked that one up.
so that and everybody in that that 12 to 18 range, they've done really good with. Looking at talent that has some flaws, but you're okay with that because they're going to give you something more. So right,
Tomiyasu, Takahiro Tomiyasu.
there you go.
Did I
Yeah,
do it right?
yeah, yeah. And then then there's the Stan's comment there, right? He's just there for marketing,
That's a possible. We can't
and
discount
it's
these
and
things.
it's just this is we can't we put that
We haven't had good luck with
we put that
Japanese
message
players.
out there, and then we complain when it doesn't work out for these players, and it's like, what, because that I always have said that it seems sometimes that the marketing team is running this team and not the football people. And you know what? There isn't any football people. Who's the football people on this that are running this squad, this team, this club?
Yeah.
You got it? You got any names? Any football people?
No.
How? Yeah, this is the Arsenal. We got no football people running a football club.
And you got a football person calling to say he wants the job.
You got
Over Mars. That's what we were saying.
yeah. Why has nobody answered that phone call?
What scares me a little bit is nobody's answered that call yet, and there's numerous calls go out. The fans can see what's happening on the field. Things don't get rectified. Substitutions don't get made properly. We can see mistakes on the field happening as in real time, Gary. We can see false nines in a major European semi-final. We can see Pep 2.0, which is a major problem. I would have felt better if Arteta became more of a Wenger type of manager rather than a Pep. It seems like he's got a lot of pep in his step and not a lot of Arsene.
There's no way Pep is going to try something new in the biggest match that he's playing. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to do that.
We've seen it in the Champions League final. Outwitted by Tuchel.
No, but you're saying he went with he had really bad players that he put
just
in the
got
positions out
outwitted
of
by
their.
No,
You're saying football. You're talking about not being as technical, right? And not the tactical.
No, I'm saying
tactical,
Arteta seems to be influenced more by Pep Guardiola than Arsene Wenger.
oh, yeah, like I've said all along, you've got some ingredients. Make the best meal you can out of it. Arteta is like, you know what? I've got a $2 steak here. I need to make filet mignon. Why is it not taste so good? Why is it so tough? Right? You got what you got. Enjoy it and take it. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. As one of the teachers my kids had would say. You got these players. You don't waste them. The WTT, don't waste a trip. This is well, he's wasting these opportunities. He's wasting his career right now, right?
Yep.
He's got good players. He doesn't have terrible players. He's just he's making them look bad, and he's supposed to be the one making them look good.
We can make something good out of the ingredients we have, but you're using the wrong ingredients. You're using the wrong cooking.
You have a Swedish chef in there cooking. That's the problem.
Cooking techniques. Really said Arsenal is the best marketing PR team. Just walk into the Armory and you'll see this. I did the tour. I walked into the Armory, but I was not fooled by having my picture, Ray Walker, signed for the Arsenal. No, not doing that. Sorry.
Now think about it. And then not only do they have the best marketing PR team, but they have a really good women's team.
Second best PR team.
What are they doing in the women's team, and then turn around and look at the men's team and go, you know what, we're going to do things a little bit different here, right? I think they took a little bit longer than I wanted them to find a manager, but they found a good one. They lost some really good players, but they brought some really good players in.
Mhm.
Right? We don't do that. How is that?
Yeah, it
And
looked
that's
like they were going to lose players left, right, and center, and they
yeah,
brought some good ones in
yeah.
and
So
revitalized the squad.
so they lose some really good players. They bring in some really good players. Nothing changes, right? The men's team, guess what? We're gonna do this thing totally different. We're gonna bring in somebody who doesn't know what he's doing. We're gonna bring in somebody who doesn't know how to, it's a technical director who doesn't know what he's doing in the in the European game, and somehow it's gonna work out. Oh yes, and then we're going to sign a contract so we can get this all on videotape.
Yeah, not Roy, Ray. There's a difference, and I love Catchphrase. Great show. Check it out. Um, we don't know what's behind the picture at Arsenal. We don't know what's yet to be revealed at Arsenal. Tony, let's have your say on the Takahiro Tomoyasu. See, some people think I couldn't pronounce that. Looking at you, Rudy.
I was looking at Gary, but Gary practiced the video I sent in a group chat.
What's your feelings on the Japanese player?
Kind of yet to be determined. I really don't know much about the guy. We seem to be good at spotting those type of guys. We've been doing really well there, except for Renison. I don't know who fucked that one up.
Mhm.
What gets me is how we're finding these players. We have virtually no scouting system.
Yeah.
And this one, it seemed like his agent called up saying, who needs a right back? And we picked up the phone at the last minute.
Right. Exactly. We've gone through the whole window now, and now it's time to
Not
really
the whole
ask.
window. You missed a lot of youth players going in.
Yeah.
Out,
Well,
out,
listen,
out.
we're at 2 hours. We don't want to do 4 hours. Um, it's quality, not quantity, right? Isn't that what they say? Or
We always got
we're
quality.
quantity
We
and
always got
quality.
something to say.
We're both quality and quantity, Gary.
Have you ever seen Gary short on words?
No,
I'm an introvert, man. What are you talking about?
he's second only to Sam Greenwood.
I can't outdo Sam. I try. It's not a race I can win.
Gary does his first show behind
Closed doors.
scenes, tape it. Now he's on every fucking Arsenal podcast. Can't get rid of a guy.
I created a monster, didn't I, Tony?
Yeah,
I
you
was
poured water on
I was
Gizmo,
scared
and
to
now
just
there are
do
fucking
the
gremlins
to do the
everywhere.
video behind the scenes, much less get out on
Yeah, it's a
live and do
year.
it.
It's been a year, Gary.
That is true. Yeah.
A little over a year.
And what did it start over? Emmy.
All right.
It did. But you brought it up, not me. I'm not.
Reflections, Gary. You start off. I want to know two things: your overall feeling on the whole window we've just talked about for the last 2 hours, and what's your high point in the whole window?
I'm gonna say yes, no. Yes, we did some good. No, we didn't do what we needed to do. I wanted a starting. I wanted a starting 11. We don't have a starting 11.
I want Gary to
Say the name, Gary.
comment there.
Erdiger. Sorry.
Just say
I
Martin, you know.
don't want to say
Erdiger.
Martin. It doesn't even sound right. Yeah.
All right, Gary.
I'm
Your
gonna say-
overall.
So, no,
your
so
overall
for me, I'm up and down. We our depth is better, and every player that we brought in has been a positive in a sense that it's improved us to some degree, but we can't compete for top four with the players we brought in. And that was supposed to be part of the goal, is to be able to compete at the top of the table. We didn't do that, and maybe we spend a little bit less and our depth isn't good, but you know what? Maybe our depth isn't good, but we still keep some of our players we let go. Maybe will it stays, but yeah, no, I think the starting 11 needed some work. We needed players that I would consider starters, like when they come in. Not they're going to get there, right? Ramsdale, if he's going to be our starter, he should be starting now. Doesn't seem that way. Lakanga and Sambi and Tavage, they're not starters. Like, It's not like you're switching them out and not and expecting to get similar performances, right? That's why I wanted more, attacking mids, so we can rotate them out in and out and not miss much, right? Um, yeah, so that's why I gave it a 5, and it's a 5 out of 10 for me.
5 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was just
Average.
say, do you really think that we were going to compete for the top 4? No, I'm saying that's the goal, and that's what we want. We don't play European football, so we're not going to be resting players because they played on a Thursday and stuff like that. So, you know, if we, based on what we've done in the past, if we didn't play European football, we should have gotten top 4. So the goal is to do a little bit better than you did the year before,
Hmm.
right? So we have less games, and you're going to go out there and find players, but we're not doing that.
Who is Gary? Who was the player that Arteta told Ben White that better players would be coming in after you? Who was that player? Was it Odegaard? Was it Ramsdale? Was it Tommy Ashley?
He lied, like he always did. He lied.
He lied.
He lied.
Ty gives it a 0.
He
Not
lied.
even a marquee signing.
No, no, he lied. No, that was
If
he
they're
lied.
not,
He lied to Ian when he said my goal is to do top 3, right? He
well,
lied.
you can say that's your goal.
He didn't. He
He
didn't
didn't achieve
look.
his
He
goal.
didn't look like a manager who was trying to get top 3. So like I said, he put a goal out in front of him, and then guess what he did? When nobody was looking, he erased it, so nobody knew what was going on. So yeah, no, nah. I don't know what did I say? What did I say?
It was anywhere in the past monologue
Yeah,
that
no,
Brady's
like I
laughing.
said,
Like I said, Gary's always short on words. You gave it
yeah,
a 5,
yeah,
Gary.
I gave it a 5. Yeah,
5 out of 10. Maybe that's why Brady's laughing. Let us know what. That's not lying. That's selling. Okay. So he was selling the dream, not lying, Gary. Listen,
He's a bullshit artist. We know it.
Only Mikel knows, and only Mikel. Gary, got to ask you, what was the highlight of the window?
Zombie.
What one thing?
wow.
Either you have a feeling will be, or you feel that is already the
Zombie.
highlight of the window. Hey,
I'm torn a little bit
trying to
because
influence the
I'm
Gary.
torn. I'm torn a little bit because I want Ramsdale because I think that will improve our defense.
That could take 3 years.
It could take 3 years, but Zombie, same thing. He's not ready to take over for a Partey either. So, um, I guess I'm gonna go.
Got faith in Odegaard?
I do. I just don't know how. I don't know if he can do
Like
it every
reaching that
night.
level,
I don't. I
stepping
don't
up.
think. I don't think he can do it every night.
He's
Yeah.
too
You
much
know.
like Smith Rowe. They're just
So for me,
not
yeah.
enough upgrade there.
So that's why I kind of feel like they might have to rotate so you get the best out of both of them, right? That's
Yep.
what I think we should do, so that they can build. One. Anything you can do, I can do better type of thing. So Mills Rowe comes out there, he performs, and then Erdiger comes out, he performs. Now you've got 2 players, fighting for time on the pitch,
Or we
playing
can
them
try this
both.
back 3 thing with a central defensive
Yeah,
midfielder again.
maybe in cup games we do that when we want to just finish off the game. We should be able to do that, right?
Mm.
But no, now I guess for me, if I'm gonna say that, I guess Zombie is the one that maybe surprised me.
Right.
My
you know,
influence worked.
I agree right here. Odegaard is too much like Emil Smith Rowe. No, they're very different players.
I
But
don't think they're that different.
they are kind of lightweight. I'm starting to form the opinion you cannot have these 3 players in the same team. Saka, Odegaard, and Emil Smith Rowe. You cannot have all 3.
You
in
can
the
if you
same-
put them in the right formation.
What formation are you going to put them in? There's not enough goals there. You're relying on Aubameyang to score all the goals.
Aubameyang can't score goals. He scored with Lacazette.
Not consistently.
Martinelli.
You put Odegaard in there, Emil Smith Rowe, and Saka, along
got
with
rid of
Aubameyang.
Willock.
They are
Willock
not
can
going to
score.
consistently score enough goals for you. You need Pepe in there as well.
Well, Pepe will, but Willock would have.
Yeah, that's the problem. We don't know. I mean, for me, I rather put I'd rather push Saka back just so he's on the pitch and let him
I'd just
play.
rather put your
You
just
know what I
put your
mean? Like
best 11
I'd rather
athletes out
Saka
there
be
and
on.
see
I'd
what
rather
happens.
us play our best players because we know some of them are versatile and can play anywhere, and then we actually have our best players on the pitch. Maybe they're out of position, but it's not a big dip, right? I
Mm.
think Saka can play right back better than the other four that we had before Tamayasu, right? Right?
Ray's right here. Emil Smith Rowe
Yeah,
likes to carry the ball. Erdegaard loves
yeah,
the quick interplay, but
yeah.
Erdegaard is more of a Riziki type player. He wants to pass and
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
a
and you
little
know
bit.
what? He's not
I
going to have
want
that
to.
person to pass to, right? He makes those those passes out up to Partey sometimes that I would like, or he accepts those passes from Partey. He's
Yeah,
not going to get that when Partey's not on the
he
pitch.
Who's
he
the
needs
eight
an
and
So,
who's the
outlet.
10?
huh?
Gary
I
Erdegaard
said who's
needs
the
an
eight
outlet.
and who's the 10?
Emil Smith Rowe's the 10, okay, because he's wearing it on the back of his shirt. There you go. I said it.
Who
Uh,
plays what position?
Erdegaard needs a player like Pepe to feed off of. He needs an
Who
Aubameyang. He
plays
needs
with number 10, Ray?
Well, that's the thing for me.
Emil Smith Rowe.
If Pepe is the guy that he needs to play, so why is he sitting? He should be a
Ray
guy
doesn't
that
believe
plays.
his own
He
answer.
should be playing all the time, right? But he's going to sit a lot of times with Arteta, the way he manages his players. Pepe needs to play.
Mm.
We need to get the end of season Pepe now. The only
Yeah.
way you do that
But
is you play him. He can't
okay,
sit.
who are you gonna
Stop and
you're
start.
gonna sacrifice one of those three players then? Saka, Erdegaard, or Emil Smith Rowe, right, Gary?
Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
yep, yeah. You have to. Like, yeah,
Exactly. The
based on
balance
what
has
you.
to be right.
Yeah, so Emil Smith Rowe usually for me would be the guy to sit, and it's not a negative for him. I just think they need to play off of each other. He needs to come in and give and
Yep.
relieve
There's enough minutes for all three
Erdegaard,
there.
right? Yeah. What is this?
There's enough minutes to play two out of those three every game. DWTT, we should be competing for top four. No European football. Arsenal are not, unfortunately. We have Arteta clueless from board to tea lady.
Exactly.
But
Well, I think
City
the tea
fell.
lady is actually good, so don't ever talk about the tea lady.
She knows how to set a
The
team
tea's
up.
spot on. All right, it's not too
She
hot, not
knows
too
how to
cold.
set a
Yeah,
team up.
don't,
And the
no,
team.
don't go to
She
the tea
knows how to
lady.
steep
You
that
got to move it
tea.
up. You got to move it away from there. So don't talk about our tea lady like that.
Gary, did you pick your highlight of the window? I'm sorry.
I said it's
Okay.
Zombie because
Okay.
Tony brought him
You gotta,
like that. Yeah, you know what? I gave it a 5 because it's blah, right?
yeah.
It's not.
It's not brilliant, but it's not terrible.
Like I said,
We had
he improved us in different areas. We have a better backup goalkeeper. We have a better left back. So we have a better a player behind Partey, right? We have, I guess we have a starting right. We have a right back who might start. I don't know. We have a
Oh, we
center
got
back
5 right
starter,
backs, Gary. We just figured that out.
right? But we didn't have that big boom, right? Like Partey was the player that gave us that big
yeah.
like
There's no marquee.
splash, right? We don't have
No
that,
wow
right?
this time. Yeah, exactly. As Stan said here, I want to see what West Ham. I want us to be West Ham this season. I was a little bit dismissive of West Ham this time last year when we played them in the second game of the season. We had Charlie on, and Charlie was very self-effacing as a West Ham fan. They understood they weren't that great a year ago, that they should have been fighting relegation. Well, guess what happened? They flipped the script on Arsenal, and I want to flip the script back to be West Ham from last year and to have a bad start. They lost their first two games, but then they started climbing the table.
Yeah.
The next game, Gary, they won 4-0 against Wolves.
Yeah.
We need a win against Norwich.
We did not start out like West Ham though. So that's the problem. Like they
started with a whimper.
Yeah, we are not starting out the same way, and there's no excuses, Arteta. No excuses. It wasn't a preseason. It wasn't. I didn't have all my players in. Nah, no. Sorry, not gonna accept it. Yeah, you had a whole preseason to get ready for this.
Erdegaard can pass to Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, Pepe, or Oba, but I do believe you need Pepe and Oba in the team as well. We need people who can score goals, and not necessarily. We need two creative and two attacking. I wouldn't pet Pepe for big matches. He doesn't do enough for me.
But we you
Great,
know
he
what?
puts it in the back of the net, Gary.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like he needs to play. He's not. He doesn't
He's
look
not,
good in them because he doesn't play in them.
but he's not
He,
there. He's not there to look good. He's not there to do enough. He's there to finish moves off as well.
and once again, he's not getting the confidence of the manager. He if he gave half as much confidence that he gives to Xhaka that he gives to Pepe, you see a totally different player. I have no doubt about that. I don't believe he trusts him, has confidence in him, wants to instill some confidence in him because he's got the talent. We see it every once in a while. We just don't see it 100%. And
Mhm.
you know, I don't think he's I don't think Arteta's given him what he needs. He needs the hand all on the shoulder. He needs, the smack on the butt, whatever it is. Because wake up, buddy. Let's go do what you do.
Now
You
Arteta
know,
needs to look and see what happens in the game. Pepe plays well instead of worrying about training all the damn time.
it's got to go both ways, right? It's got to go. He's got to be working on the things that he's. I always say you practice the way you play, right? If
Well,
not,
it
then
seems like
guess
he
what?
plays pretty damn good.
Not every player can turn it on. There's things that Pepe needed to do that he wasn't doing. You know, he needed to track back because that's what Arteta wanted him to do. And actually, he looks good doing it when he does it. Right when he has his mindset, he looks good. When he has his mindset, he's going to attack the defender and take the ball into the box. He looks good doing it. He just turns off every other time.
Ramsdale will prove his doubters wrong. There's some conversation about Ramsdale. Ty, at the moment, I think he's decent. He's not going to be great. I think he's a bit like Jordan Pickford. He's going to need games and he's going to need time in the top flight to improve. But I think there's some raw talent there. Which big matches has Pepe put the ball in the net? He scored. He scored toward the end of the season when, yes, nothing was on the line, but they were big games in terms of getting back up to the table when we needed to. Ramsdale flaps the ball a lot. Tony, your observations on the window. Let's get out of here in the next 5 or 6 minutes here, and you can get yourself a cup of tea then.
And let me plug in the power here before I die.
What was your thoughts on the window overall? Gary gave it 5 out of 10. How would you analyze our window, and what was the highlight for you?
For me right now, if you had to rate it, it'd be a 3.5. It's raw ingredients. They haven't cooked yet. You look at it in 2 years, you could rate it as a 7 or 8.
Okay,
But
so you're
for me,
rating it 3.5 because you think maybe we'll see more in 2 years that will prove that this was a better window than you think right now.
yep. But our main thing, we had no depth in midfield. We still have no depth in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking at selling El Nini. Zaka could have went out. We could have upgraded over Zaka, but over £2 million, we didn't sell him. He wanted out.
What was
President said he wanted out.
What was the big signing for you?
I only said Zombie about 5 times, so I
Okay,
think he's gonna be a bright spot. Could
That's-
change, but right now it's Zombie.
that's brilliant, Gary. If we have a Belgian player who's going to grow and become an established international player, he had played his debut today. It's going to be big for this window. We have a Sambi getting better and better.
Yep, really nice to see him continue to grow every time he gets out there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Can only get better if Partey's out there playing with him, or actually healthy enough to see, so he can see how to play the position and all those types of things. So yeah,
Brady, Interlull predictions, lads. So I'm not sure what that means. Are we predicting the international games, or are we predicting when we come back from the Interlull? So let me know on that one, Brady. We'll definitely touch on Norwich for a little bit. While I'd put a 5 on Pepe being dropped as soon as he hit form stand.
and it's consistency, right? We expect to see that, right?
For my part, I think we have seen a strategy of us of trying to go out and get younger players and making the squad younger. Under 23s, 6 players we brought in. My worry is we're a little bit too young. and we're a little bit boys, and the men of the Premier League are going to show us a few harsh lessons this season coming. I know that sounds a little bit stark, but when you look at Chelsea, they're ground by Lukaku. We're not in the same league. When you look at Man United, they got Varane, they got Ronaldo. They bought Ronaldo because City were going to go get him, and they're probably going to win the league. We'll do predictions maybe on Sunday, and then Grealish for City. So the top four are getting bigger and better and faster, and we're just standing still. We paid a lot of money just to stand still.
Are you sure we're not going backwards?
I hope not. Hope not. But it starts with the first game back, and it's Norwich.
Yeah, I get that, but we've had three games or four,
You're 3-0.
games.
You're three.
Our
You're
first
3-0
game of the
down.
year, according to Ray.
Gary,
Yeah.
you're 3-0 down. The comeback starts with getting a goal and getting that first win, right?
Yeah, well, I always ask for one thing better each game, and I think it got really. I think we went one. We got worse from
One
game to
thing
game.
worse.
I don't know how you can do that from the
Yeah.
you lose to Brentford. All right, you get beat up by Chelsea. All right. Oh wait a second, we can do one better than that. Guess what? City comes out and smashes you. So it's yeah, I think England will win all their games. They're just too strong. The depth.
Who are they playing, Gary?
I think it's Andorra. Is that what I said? Andorra. Does that sound right?
Andorra.
I think
Yeah.
somebody was saying that Saka probably will start because he didn't play today. So that should I assume that means it should be an easier game for England. That's why he's going to start. But they looked okay after the 70th minute when they scored 4 goals. But this team is too good not to be able to
4-0
score.
today. Raheem
Yeah.
Sterling, Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, and Declan Rice.
And they and Harry Kane missed at least 3 one-on-one shots with the goalkeeper, and Sterling missed one as well. This game should have been over. It should have been it could have been 7. It could have not 7. It could have been at least 6 goals. But and that's just talking after the 70th minute.
have to go away to Poland.
Okay.
So I think that'll be a draw in Poland, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Why do you think it's a draw?
You're going away to Poland in a very,
Doesn't
very
matter.
difficult atmosphere.
No.
Hey, come back next 7 days from now when it's a draw.
No, I'm not saying you're not right. I'm saying you already. No,
I just saw that eye roll.
No, because you already get. It's like you go in already with a loss in mind. And it's like no,
Tony,
they should be expecting to win that match. They should be considered favorites, right? Poland isn't.
Tony, will you tell Gary I'm usually right about these things?
No, I didn't say you were right. I'm saying that you're right because you're just playing.
Having half the transfer business done before July 16th.
Exactly. There you go.
We're done. Nobody won, right? So good.
Yeah,
It went to the last day for you, Gary. Went to the last day for you.
I disagree because we had most of the outs done.
Who won the bet, Tony?
Nobody won. It's a push. Stop.
Ray did.
What? Tony, how dare you?
Heard it. You heard it there from the man.
See, now he's gonna regret saying that and then tomorrow he's gonna Gary, what do you? I'm like, nope, not on your side.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna round it out. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thanks to the people who are going to be watching it on playback. Let's get the message out here. You see the ticker going on the bottom. Search the GoFundMe, help Tony get his permanent prosthetic leg. He's going to be out of pocket $10,000. It's not cheap to get a prosthetic leg. We've got 1,000 in the kitty. We need another 9,000. Ryan from Mr. Arsenal podcast is going to be doing a 24-hour podcast. We're going to do a warm-up show here on Arsenal Fan Circle 2 hours before, which is going to be start here at 5 p.m. Sunday, UK time. Ryan will continue at 7 p.m. UK time and going for 24 hours. So we're going to do the warm-up show. Come watch us. We're going to tell you to go over to Ryan on Sunday. You will see us maybe the same faces here. Who knows? Ryan's gonna formulate the show. 72 hours exactly at this time slot. I would say the three of us could be here, but I don't know exactly. Right, Gary?
Yep, don't know, but yeah, this would be cool. It'll be cool.
It'll be
Looking
cool.
forward to it.
And
Gary can't resist an Arsenal podcast. Come on.
get the awareness out for Tony. We got to get the awareness out. Please, everybody, if you see the tweet, retweet it. If you see the link, share it. Let a lot of people, a lot of Arsenal fans find it. And we'll hopefully we can fundraise. Monday will be Tony's birthday. And what better birthday present would be than we could see 100% of his goal, $10,000, and would really, really be a help. Actually, 10 months we've been trying to do this for you, Tony. 10 months. We got 1,000 over 10 months. Let's get 9,000 in 24 hours or 3 days. All right? That's the plan. That's the plan. Thanks, Gary, for dropping by. I have lots more content to go through tonight, but obviously we ran a little bit over trying to sort out what Arsenal did to us this summer. And I could see it on your face, Gary. The ups and downs, the highs and the lows, the ins and the outs, the maybes. Maybe this happened. Arsenal messed up here. Arsenal messed up there.
Yeah.
They did something good. They did something bad.
Yep. Roller coaster ride.
It is a roller coaster ride. DWTT, don't waste that trip. Well, you selected a hell of a trip, Gary. The Arsenal trip.
Yeah, this has been crazy. This has been crazy. Hopefully there is a light at the end of this tunnel.
It's like those 3D rides. You go in and you select three different things. You selected the Arsenal trip.
Oof.
You signed up for this, Gary.
Yeah, but he re-signed up for it 8 years ago. Does he regret it? Should you just skipped Arsenal, or are you glad you found us?
I'm glad I found it. I mean, I'm glad. Yeah.
Found us.
You gotta. It's been ups and downs, but it's been fun.
He just like us crazy kooks on here.
I'm both the up and down, Gary.
Yeah.
For you. Thanks, Gary, for joining. Thanks to Alonzo. If you're watching, probably at work right now, Alonzo, and of course, Tony. Thanks for dropping in, as always. Listen, it's brilliant. People like all of you in the chats. Really, thanks for being here. Ray Anderson, thanks for joining. Taib, I'm going to go through. Stan, listen, I'm going to.
Even down fell asleep.
Assembled. Who was here earlier on? John Smith was here earlier.
Stephen was.
Eve Johnson was here. I didn't know it was your mom, Gary, right? So.
Yep.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Bargav, thanks for joining.
Yes.
We know a lot of you will be watching because you're sleeping right now. You'll be watching on the playback. So listen. Thanks everyone for watching. We're out of here. Come back Sunday, 5 p.m. UK time. And I always say that, Ray Anderson. I don't want to say local time because a lot of people go to the local time in London because we're Arsenal. And that's our time zone, Tony.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Ray Anderson summed it up perfectly. Thank you guys, and also the chat. It is every one of us together. We're all together in this, and we went a little bit over tonight, but it was needed to sort out Arsenal. And thanks for watching. Come back on Sunday. Do the salute, Gary. We're out of here. Take care, everyone. Be safe out there.
Wrap it up, Ray.
Let's see ya.
And people